My name is Rhapsody, his name is sneakyteak, and welcome back to the ladder streak for another week. How's it going, bud?
Lil Fade!
It's time to play Lil Fade. Hey, this episode, as I mentioned to you a little bit before we jumped into it, is going to be a learning experience for me. I feel like Lil Fade is probably the champion with which I am the least comfortable.
Okay.
And that even includes Rectiflicker, and I have a weird relationship with Rectiflicker. So
Melting Remnant's hard. Melting Remnant has always been strong, but I think that they are, like, in my opinion, easily the hardest class in the game. And the reason is that I think the other factions often have clearer, more linear paths to the three major goals. We talk about beating tanky frontliners, reaching thin backliners, and scaling damage for bosses. And it can be hard to define a strategy with Melting Remnant that does all of those things. You kind of need a collection of stuff. They're tricky,
now,
but I love them.
When you say that, I imagine people can probably hear the porcupine spines on my back stand tanned. You need a bunch of stuff? You mean you can't address all problems in a single floor, single build kind of situation?
Sometimes you can, but you have to do it very creatively. So part of what makes Melting Remnant so difficult is that they're a very unit-driven class. You will solve most of your problems directly or indirectly with units, and sometimes that will require looking at units as a bunch of things instead of as one thing. So a unit might be on one turn just a spell to do damage to a front line, on other turns a sacrificial lamb or a chump block, and with the right combination of things it can also maybe become your scaling damage. But that means that you're doing a dance, right? When do I stop this thing being roll number 1 and 2 and move it on to roll 3? To be honest, I think that your previous experience when we've played together, to where you're like, Bounty Stalker, are you sure? And I'm like, yes, I think it may be the best card in the game. Melting Remnant is a lot of Bounty Stalker. It requires you to do a lot of things with units and to think of them very broadly and to be willing to like kind of sometimes hedge or cut losses or time things. It's super fun, super tricky.
I think you've hit the nail on the head there. The fact that it is so based around that minion play, and also that you have to have the minions fulfill different roles over the course of each individual fight. It's I think no secret at this point that my playstyle is find what is going to work, put that into the deck, cut everything else out, set that up as quickly as possible, and then hit E until the game is over. And you have to make so many more decisions in the non-game part of it, right? The non-fight part. All of the decisions for that kind of a playstyle and that kind of a deck happen outside of the fights. And then in the fights, it's just kind of like roll it until it happens.
But you know, I want to emphasize
with...
one thing though. That you said, because you're talking about engine building and you're talking about making, coming up with one idea of a collection of things in your deck and moving unerringly in that direction. First of all, it's a very valid style of play, and I think you do a good job playing into what you enjoy. And second of all, it wins in Monster Train consistently. And so I want to kind of remove this idea that there's one proper way to play or this kind of elitism around styles, because the ultimate arbiter of your play in a game like this is whether you win or lose. And when you start losing, you figure out different ways to play. So I think that those are just different voices, but they're both totally objectively valid, right?
Yeah, and I'll get into that a little bit more with a video that I want to make talking about playstyles coming up at some point in the future. Watch this space kind of situation. Effectively, the TLDR thrust of it is going to be along the lines of my thin deck kind of like optimized engine building strategy from STS broke down in Ascension 18 and no longer works. And so I adapted, and it works here. However, this episode is going to be the example in the alternative, because I believe that exactly that playstyle is why I suck at Melting Remnant.
Yeah, it's very different. It really is. You do have to play. Hey, but you know what? I'll say this. Melting Remnant, I don't have a perfect record with either. In fact, the class that I lost with the most for a long time when the game fully released was Melting Remnant.
I think that has to be the same experience for everyone, though, because it is the class where you can shoot yourself in the foot with a machine gun, chain gun at the same time strapped to one another. Like, so many bullets. You've got more bullet than foot.
But you know what? I love this though, and it's my favorite class, and it's my favorite class for a reason, which is that it tells this beautiful story. Because when the game first came out, a lot of the best players were saying, "Yep, this game's great, and I can streak really well up until I randomly get Melting Remnant, and then I lose, and there's nothing I can do. It's the worst class." And at that time, even fairly early on, I still remember we've mentioned him before, Sal Link saying, "I think y'all are missing something.
Yep.
This class is better than you're saying. It's just this game, I think has so many different factions, but you can use some of the same kind of abstract thinking for several of them. And Melting Remnant really is, and it's a class of its own. It really is.
I
love
it. I have to give credit especially to Sal here, because I refused to optionally draft anything that said reform until a conversation with Sal.
Yep.
And that is such a huge part of the class. Like, it's a
massive utility.
I was a couple hundred hours into my play of the game by that point. Obviously, not all spent on Melting Remnant, and a lot of it in the pre-beta that didn't necessarily have any of the clans, other than Hellhaunt Awoken. But I was stuck in that space until that discussion, and especially until seeing some of the results that he was able to produce using them. So we currently have Covenant 10 tagged on, which is going to add such impactful modifier.
Yeah, particularly for unit-based play.
Yeah, no kidding. Yep. They're going to be entering the top floor with Dazed, so that means they are not going to be resolving any abilities or attacking on their first round. Hit the depart button.
I'm stoked. By the way, I don't want to build up the pedestal too high. I love Lil Fade, but I'm not ready to call myself a Lil Fade expert. I have a lot more experience with one of her trees than the other two.
Which is the tree?
Little Icarus.
Okay, so interestingly, I think that I probably have, out of all of the versions of Lil Fade that exist, the most ease utilizing Firelight.
It's good.
Do we then try and draft the other one?
I love Lil Icarus. I won't complain if we draft Lil Icarus if she shows up.
We are going champion first, right? So some part of my brain is like, why am I thinking artifact first? Is it because we've asked this question every single time with every different character?
Yeah, we've totally... It's like, we've addressed this so many times that we've totally switched our thinking. It's usually artifact first. In all her glory, this is like the best. This is a bounty stalker on floor 0. Are you ready to play around that?
I am... definitely ready. I remember there was an experience in the ladder streak back. It was a relatively early episode with the Ironclad, and we got a feed. And your focus on getting the feed active in every situation was capable, but also in it adjusting the choices you made in terms of your pathing from then on. Because hey, this question mark doesn't say +3 or +4 depending on the upgrade max HP, and the fight does.
Yep.
That is something that I immediately took away, and I started doing, as I told you later on, in my own time. I would use those scaling resources like Wish, like Feed. I would exploit the hell out of them if I
feel like a proud sibling. Metascaling is so strong, but you have to change the game. You do. You're playing a new game when you pick up because the game itself offers you forms of metascaling. It's giving you cards, it's giving you money. But when you pick up something like a Feed or Little Icarus, you are playing a new game. Yeah, I love that.
I think the thing that I previously didn't understand was I can't utilize this in the game that I'm already playing. And I didn't understand that I was playing a different game. So I wasn't making different decisions that would make me more capable of utilizing it. I wasn't utilizing different paths that would make me more capable of exploiting effectively the value out of it. But here, we get a perfect lesson of that in MT. I'm ready.
Hell yeah.
Also, let me just quickly say, we have, in my mind, the best pairing possibility for this, because there's one rare card that, from the Awoken that is very good with this.
That's pretty hilarious. I've actually never thought about doing that. I assume you're talking about adaptive mutation.
I am
with
talking about. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. No, that card is a real sleeper. You can do some pretty crazy stuff with it. I'm usually thinking about doing that with Awoken Hellhorned to do rage things to really break your curve with adaptive mutation. But using adaptive mutation to turn Little Fade into a giant spike tank, oh, fingers crossed. I've never done that, and it sounds awesome.
I gotta say, that's like the second thing I did with Little Fade.
Oh, well, then this is the perfect fusion of worlds and strategy.
You're not wrong. Hey, that hammered chestplate looks a lot better when you have a Little Fade on 1 HP. You want to live through a couple hits, doesn't it?
Okay, so I'm gonna say that actually I'm not totally sure that that's true.
Oh.
And the reason is that I ended up thinking of that 1 health as more of a positive than anything else. Because Little Fade's job, just like Bounty Stalkers, is to die. You want Little Fade to die, and you want to be sure that Little Fade dies, and you probably want Little Fade to die after the next couple resurrections too. You're going to reform and hope to die again, and reform and hope to die again. So really, adding more health while Little Fade is in the die cycle is not necessarily good, because you want to make sure that she's dead. And by the time you're trying to turn her into something that's actually taking hits, you either don't care because she's on the back line, or you've reformed her enough times that she's fine on the front line. But I still think this is the pick, because the difference matters for our other units in the early game more than we can benefit from this Trader's Quill.
Okay, yeah, we're definitely not able to benefit from the Trader's Quill for a fair while. It would be probably from the consume extra draw, kind of like your Preserve Thorns, your Awoken Rail Spike, your the concoction that gives you +3 draw next turn. Those are kind of the things that look like they are most likely to trigger it here.
Oh, we do have some good consume cards in Awoken, don't we? Are we turning up our nose when we shouldn't be? Are we turning up our nose here where we shouldn't be? Like maybe...
Part of me was thinking that maybe the Trader's Quill would enable us to provide some early damage while we're still setting up.
Yeah.
But I also don't know what we're setting up to, necessarily.
We're setting up to where our Little Fade has a giant number on the damage and a giant number on the spikes.
Okay.
And then we can do whatever we want. I mean, she can be she's going to win fights for us.
She's got to be in the back line for the Seraph the Chase fight, because she's going to lose all of her thorns.
She has to be in the back line eventually.
Yes.
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm actually sold on your idea of not taking the hammered chestplate, though.
Oh, okay. Do you want to try Trader's Quill? We can do it. We will survive. Say that.
Come on. Oh, yeah!
My spikes,
it's
your spikes.
Such a high roll to get the clergyman. Yes,
it is.
Just give me all of the spikes. We're going to get out of this first area so damn effectively.
This does mean that we want to make sure... No, we're not going to have any trouble. We're going to be totally fine.
Yeah, we've got 2 moldeds as well as the primitive molds. I think we're going to have the ability to effectively just like put her on every floor.
I like this Restodet in the deck too. That's like a big heal in case we find, something like a Hollow, which is not going to be as good as it would be since we have allied or what is the word that I want? What's the other faction? Exiled.
Awoken. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, Exiled Awoken means no Resto in the deck, but yeah. Cool. All right.
Exiled Awoken. Hang on. We will have to talk about this because we're probably going to run into it. There has been an update that has changed Awoken pretty drastically.
Really?
Did you read through the patch notes for the controller and keyboard update?
No, because it said controller and keyboard update, so I didn't read it.
I think everyone else did the exact same thing. However, I read their announcement for it, and they were like, yeah, what's an update without some balances? And they added a new keyword into Awoken, which is cultivate. It has different trigger conditions, but cultivating on a floor is the unit with the lowest health is increased plus X, X being the cultivate value. So cultivate 3 on a revenge trigger gives a 0 or 1 health unit +3/+3.
Huh.
And we may end up utilizing that in some fashion. I would be really, really excited to see the possibility of that.
But well, I'm trying to contain my reaction. I definitely agree that I love balance changes in this game. But adding a new keyword is fairly large. That's not exactly a tiny balance change. That's not like tuning. But
Yeah.
I guess they probably reworked the sentient form, the cultivating sentient form. Is that the okay?
Exactly. The cultivating sentient is now exactly that, rather than just having the revenge trigger for a draw. Its revenge triggers cultivate. Also, one of the awoken hollow now no longer gets +1/+1 on rejuvenate. Man. It is now cultivate that it has.
Oh wow!
So it's they ingratiated it into the actual mechanics, and I imagine they're only going to do more of that in the future.
Hey, maybe we'll get there next week. Maybe we'll get there. Maybe we'll, that would be pretty cool.
That would be
so
exciting.
where do we play this shiny steward? Because part of me is thinking that we may actually. I have two lines of idea here, and I'm sorry to slow down even in the first fight. But these are the kinds of things that I think really matter in Melting Remnant. So one of our lines is we put shiny steward out here, and then that solves this turn. The other line is that we have shiny steward up top to get rid of the dazed, and then we actually play out little Icarus up top in the front next turn. If we don't draw any reform, which we might have, then we still kill the back line clergy. And if we do, we put her up front and she lives through that turn, and then she's able to significantly weaken the bottom line, which will then be up to her the turn after that, right?
Cool.
But then also die, which is ideal.
Yeah, I like the hedged bets. The reason I wasn't necessarily already doing that is because I thought we only have one more mold in the deck, so we're probably not going to hit it. But the fact that it's fine whether or not we do it is fine. And then I guess we just root seeds her.
We should root seeds the steward. He'll do work for us.
Hey, it's Wanda. What's up, Wanda?
Too bad the collector got away.
Yeah, no.
I like money. I love gold.
I love gold.
I love gold.
Is there like a bad film that you'll stan until the end of your days?
Well, I mean, we've already talked about rubber, so I can't talk about that again.
It's true.
But yeah.
I think maybe, is Mystery Men considered bad?
I don't know. I've not seen this film either, so.
Oh, okay.
I'm not as much of a film buff as you are. That is one of our differences. Is that I can come up. I'm a bit of a soundboard, so I can often know, like, quotes from a movie, but my total viewage is not as high as perhaps I would like to be.
I don't tend to think of myself as much of a movie buff, but
can she just win here?
Yeah, I think she can. Get him.
Nice. Can't quite die again, but she died a few times.
Yeah, she doesn't need to die an extra time there. Like, as long as she gets the slays, she's fine.
Look at that stat line. This is why Lil Icarus is so much fun. I need more practice with the others. They are good, but Lil Icarus is dope. Ooh.
Right? There's so many directions.
I know. Okay, I'm feeling on one right now. Like, I've got good energy. Can I talk through these?
Go for it.
That? So, molded. If we hadn't started with molded, I think that I just bite my lip and I take it.
Yeah.
It is such a good utility. As I call it, mold over is one of the things that you can do with Melting Remnant, which is very strong. I think I've heard Dolphin Chemist say that too, or something. A couple other people have used this term, mold over. Hold over on a molded.
I was introduced to that from Sow and Amphids, actually.
Oh, really? Nice. Yeah, the holdover on molded is just an immense amount of control in a class that really wants a bit of control in units. You can do random reform and it's strong, but being guaranteed to get back that one key unit is a big deal. But there's already 2 molded in the deck, which means that we already have 1 molded to put holdover on if that's something we want to do. Saturation is plenty high. I mean, we drew a reform card on every turn in that fight, right? That's not always going to be true, but that opens me up to thinking about Dripfall. You know how much I like Ascend and Descend as a mechanic, and I think that this card is massively better than it used to be. It used to just be a 2-cost. They added Daze to it, which makes it slightly worse for your own units sometimes, except that sometimes Daze can be good and better as a enemy countering ability as well. This is notably absent from the deck, and we have Restoring Retreat from Awoken, but there's not going to be very many chances to get Ascend and Descend. Makes it a bit easier for us to micro around our little Icarus, right? So a real thing that we can do is drip fall an enemy so that all of the glass in the back line is revealed, so that it's easier to get kills with little Icarus, right? Like, that's a big thing that we can do. Makes it easier for us to potentially overstack lanes overall in the late game. It's just strong with unit-based comp. But then there's your Molten Encasement. And now that this does stealth too, we're looking for ways to be able to live through longer boss fights. Eventually, we have to quit dying and we have to finish a fight. And stealth is certainly a way to do that. It will make our micro harder because we do desire for Lilicarus to die, and there's not always going to be spikes. But this is, I think, a very real mechanism to start finding some in-game survivability and scaling.
Yeah. Sorry.
I will just say, last thought, my inclination is that the answer is Dripfall, because there are many ways to solve in-game survivability and scaling, but very few sources of ascend or descend.
Yes. Okay. So everything you've said with, I broadly agree, including that I think we should take Dripfall.
Sweet.
I think Dripfall, Dripfall, Vinegrass, there are a couple of things that more recently I have been taking, as this is a flexible utility pick. It's not necessarily part of my core plan, but it is drastically useful in so many situations. Like, just reveal the tank, or rather put the tank that has 1,000 billion HP one row below, and then you never have to care about it ever again. Like, it's always relevant. Molten Encasement, I have the same thought, right? We saw the Will Denton run where I effectively looked at this and I said, this is the end of the game. We won with this.
And we did win.
Exactly. I'm really, really pleased that we actually had that run to come together as well, because it's a good example of the thing that I think about when I think of Molten Encasement. But Molten Encasement doesn't have to be utilized in specifically that scenario. It can just be, as you were saying, all of your scaling defense. It's less so against Seraph the Chase, though. We can have a little bit of a limitation in the ability to utilize that, but also, unless I have a floor that can stand there very consistently, I don't really like using Molten Encasement as my scaling mechanism, because like the burnout timer is probably going to be more relevant to us than the stealth timer.
That's a good point. Molten Encasement is almost better as a cross-class card than it is as an in-class card. And I think that that's one of the interesting things about the design space of Melting Remnant, is that it does have that kind of split where some things feel very Melting Remnant and some things feel like you kind of want to throw them into your Hellhorn setup or something, right?
Now, if we were a different clan combination, I still might argue for this Molten Encasement, but we have Awoken. If we ever have access to a clan that has the ability to build a frontliner out of its own just pure will to have a frontliner, it's Awoken.
But I think Awoken's nemesis is Chase. And so it is an interesting point that I hadn't been thinking about enough, which is we do have to figure out our end game plan for Seraph the Chased. We do potentially have a combo that could struggle with that a bit. So I don't think we have to panic about it now, but it's certainly something to be thinking about.
Definitely. So I'm looking at our next path, because I kind of want to choose based off of our next path. We've got a Merchant of Steel next to Woken Banner and a Hellvent possibility in the next area. There's a theoretical possibility of getting like an Animus of Speed, giving it a +10, and then just duping it.
Is that the unit that we want here? So one thing about Little Icarus is that we can build our own glass cannon, no problem.
Yes. What we really want here is one large boy. One big man. Probably not going to end up hellventing into the second area. So if we actually want to utilize this hellvent, that would be going over to the Merchant of Magic and trying to look for a utilized, like a specifically good upgrade there. But I think because we're looking for Woken units, we're locked to this position, which means we're probably going Hersel's Horde Remnant Banner in the second area, which means, like, Vine Grasp, maybe?
I have one really cute play that we can do.
I love it.
Razor Sharp Edge, conveniently, can also be our first Little Icarus kill, since we didn't take Hammer Chest Plate, which is, like, particularly hilarious to me. And it is probably the best buff here, especially since spikes are pretty covered. So I'm at least considering this card. I think Vine Grasp is probably better utility right now, but Razor Sharp Edge could be meaningful.
It definitely could be. The situations where I really, really, really like Vine Grasp are usually where I already have a multi-striker, so the possibility, like, the possibility of us going to the Awoken Banner and picking up an Animus of Will, I feel like if it's there, no hollow is, maybe we go for that, but
we're not gonna turn up our nose. Like, if we have the right buffs and that unit's there, I mean, that's a very strong unit. We have root seeds for it. We love multi-strikers. Yeah.
Okay, so there was a bit of my brain there that was going, no, but that's not going to be our end game build, and I just need to quiet that for a bit for a second.
We can have multiple. I think that's the big takeaway here. Little Icarus is only one slot. So if we have two different, damage dealers that work two different ways, think of it more like a World of Warcraft party of 5 instead of a party of 1 or 2. It's like we'll have a few different damage dealing units, and they'll work in concert pretty well. As long as we don't try to have like 6 damage dealers, because then we're just stumbling over ourselves. But to pick up an Animist of Will with Root Seeds in the deck absolutely makes sense. The more I think about it.
Let's
push
take
us
the Razor Sharp edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the slight tiebreaker.
Hey, how does this work with Reform now? By the way, do they keep that +10 now?
Yeah.
They do, right? Okay.
Although I think the reformed version. I wonder what will happen when the Little Icarus has -1 HP and then reforms for +5.
Well, because the reform still gives it +5. Yeah. So yeah, that's a good point. Because before they would default back to 1, but does that get subtracted? This could be a good time for science. Now I almost want to take it more. Yeah.
My slight tiebreak is just that we already have some repositioning of enemies outside of that with the Dripfall.
With Dripfall, that's true. Smart.
Also, it's not like there are that many things that do what either of those cards do. Like, Razor Sharp Edge is unique in terms of being such a powerful damage buff.
+10. The only thing like it is Reform, if you think about it.
Quick, okay, I'm enthused.
5 + 10
Okay.
Whoa.
So we don't want Shattered Shell.
Yeah, right? Because we wanted to get Slays.
Yeah.
But we kind of need some units around. Dude, I think this Animus is pretty good.
I love this Animus. I love the idea of giving it quick, just buffing it like literally for damage. I might relent and go for the +5, +20. Yeah, there is a +25 there, so we could utilize the Razor Sharp Edge consistently with that. But especially utilizing quick will give it the ability to defend itself a lot of the time, and I think that we can use our bottom 2 layers as ways to try and get the Icarus to have some value, and then the top layer is effectively a catch 'em.
Yeah.
Right?
We're gonna use every layer, by the way, and I should emphasize this because I think it's a pretty common thing with Melting Remnant. Is like you may not get to the point to where you can get a 1 lane that kills the Seraph, but can 3 lanes kill the Seraph? One thing to consider too is reforming Animus of Will is also very strong. Do we ever not take quick here and take the other 2 instead? Like what about +5 +35?
How long does it take until that unit can kill anything?
Well, because not long, right? Really? Because I mean, it's starting at
I guess we do
8
have root
by
seeds.
3. It's 24 damage. Every Root Seeds is +6 damage. Every Razor Sharp is +30 damage. And I guess the biggest concern is it's going to be harder for it to die, but we might actually kind of want Animus to be a little tanky.
So why do we want it to be tanky rather than to die?
Because for now, it's also our frontliner for boss fights.
Is that not probably going to be sourced from Remnant banner in the next
I think
area?
it's likely that we pick up at least 1 more unit, right? And we'd certainly be okay with just a beefy stat stick, and especially like Harvest Money sounds pretty nice right now.
There's even another Awoken banner further down next to a Merchant of Magic and Unstable Vortex if we're still fishing for a follow by then.
I'm just trying to walk through the options. My inclination, right? Like if I had to make a snap choice, I probably would take Quick too, because Quick is effective health, as you say. And it will make it a little safer for us to deal with the waves. And Quick means that we will, if we're in a position where we have to reform both of our units every turn, we're going to be in trouble pretty quickly. Like we don't have that kind of saturation of reform. And so ideally, we're spending more time reforming Lil Fade than the Animus of Will. But dang, an 8 by 3 with whatever, 38 health, that's not a bad unit.
It's not a bad unit. It has a lot of growth potential, but I wonder if we're already good at like the end of a fight and we need to be good at the start of the fight.
Yeah, I think you're right. And frankly, if it's gonna die with Quick, then I probably am okay with it dying anyway and will reform it once or twice. I like the +5 +10 here, I think, over the Heartstone.
Okay.
With this direction. The biggest thing is gonna be we want to be sure that we can reform it and keep it alive in those cases. I think that this run is super excited about, what's it called? Like resin, not resin block. The other one that gives you +4 every time you get burnout.
+4 every time you get burnout.
+4 burnout.
Oh, sorry, +3 burnout anytime you get a stack of burnout. So it's +4 is the smallest. Yeah, it's the combustible wax, I think.
It's some kind of wax illusion, right? This would be a run where that would be fantastic.
Yes. I would love to see that in this run so that we can actually avoid burnout time as being a bad thing for us, especially because we're getting into our second battle now. After this, we will see a Melting Remnant card, and basically this is going to decide whether or not we can use burnouts, or rather we can support burnout, because Wicklash, Hallowed Drippings, the heal that I can't ever remember the name of.
Yeah, they're all missing from our deck. Yeah.
They're all missing, and we're not finding them after this point.
Yep, very true.
So is there a world where we turn down the unit drop for the sake of the scaling of Little Fade off of the back of the Reconcilers?
Well, so this is a good question. Do we think, here's another way to look at it. If we turn this on, how do we successfully scale with Little Fade?
We probably...
We only have to die,
right?
Right?
Well, no,
she's Slay. That's right.
She's
That's right.
Slay.
Yeah.
We I guess we just put her behind the Animus of Will, right? And we buff the Animus of Will until it's just about to kill.
She's got enough spikes.
The front line.
She's got enough spikes. She kills the back line, but she can't kill the front line quite, can she?
Yeah.
And that's interesting.
I guess she does have enough spikes to kill the back line, so we just feed her into the Thresher consistently to get the Reconcilers, and then if she can get a Fortune Disciple at the end by like 2 times having hit it with her spikes, because it's 10 armor, 40 HP on them. So after 1 death of, or rather 1 slay on Little Fade, 2 triggers of her will actually kill Fortune Disciples. Yeah, we can turn this on.
We can do this. This is not as high of a roll as Clergy, which was just like, slurp it up. Just slurp it up.
Units start on every floor with a Little Fade.
The reason I was saying that we like for her to die is that then we can follow enemies as we're reforming, which makes it easier for us to survive them and actually get kills, right? So as an example here, we play her out front and she dies this turn, but after a reform, this row does not kill her anymore.
Yes.
Do we want Animus up top and just play that way? Catch the Collector?
Yeah, we have to have a Collector Cactor. Collector Cactor. No, I stand by it.
Collector. Welcome to Collector.
That sounds like a really, really, really boring mathematical subject that you take at like a 300 level. Welcome to Collector 401. I will be talking in this voice all semester. Ow! Bugger. Wait, hang on.
We can Razor Sharp it. We also have a Drip Fall here that we can use, and we have our Reform. This hand is great.
This
hand is fantastic.
Not bad at all.
Because she gets all of these kills other than the back line. Oh, wait. Does she get the back line kill too?
How?
Does she not get the swing?
No, because the Forged Disciple is not dying to the spikes, so it's the hit back.
It's not quite enough spikes because she didn't get the Slay.
That's all good. This is a 75 gold play, right? 20, 50. It's a gold play.
It's gold.
So I guess we can throw the Shiny Steward as kind of like buffer for the Animus of Will on the top line.
The big thing about the Shiny Steward that we need to be careful with is right now we really do depend on random reform bringing back Little Icarus. So we have to be a little careful with that kind of thing. Is there any sense in drip falling here? I think we just keep it as it is. Yeah.
Keep on keeping on until we win.
Keep on keeping on.
That'll do it. And then pop the root seeds here. Maybe I should have done 2 root seeds instead of the removal of the curse stuff.
I liked it. It's draw either way.
And we're good on the top line. We're
just
about to
draw now versus draw later.
We don't necessarily definitely have burnout.
Mortal Entrapment works nicely with our drip fall now too.
Yeah, no kidding. Like, if Seraphim Chase wasn't going to remove half of our stacks of days, like, I would already be looking towards the plan of getting the Mortal Entrapment double stacked.
Angrily Shake Fist. It still might be quite good, man. I mean, 6 days is a ton. You know, we could even just wait till the last few turns, the Relentless phase, and then there's no more clearing. Oof. How do we... What's our next draw?
It's going to be 2 copies of Sinner's Burden, and then 4 other cards.
Yeah, that's...
Now, 4 other cards almost certainly gets us a reform, so as long as we don't play a Shiny Steward, we'll be fine. But this is about to be scary.
It's too bad that we didn't get any damage here, because we just played Immortal Entrapment on the boss this turn, right? And then that's
no kidding.
Really good. But you know, it might be okay. So where does she get... She gets kills up front.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Does she get all 3 kills? Quick goes off first. 48.
No, it's the 3rd round Animus of Will, I think, that gets the kill here. We'll slow it down to look at it, though.
I was trying to see if, like, we could do some Root Seeds finesse to get her to get the kill.
Yeah, I think it's just...
GG, though.
Justified.
What a good one.
Yeah, GG.
She's becoming stronger. So you really hadn't played this unit very much? I love Lil Fade, man.
I feel like I feel like I spent much more time with every other exiled champion because of exactly the things we identified at the top of the episode, making it something that I found myself consistently inconsistent at. Like, I could get good results out of her, sure, but it was very much like kind of in spite of her sometimes. And then Firelight, right, was the one that I really like utilizing, and that was very much like kind of an engine-built design.
Build a strong line.
Build a strong line, get this unit, have a repeatable way of killing this unit, like a subsuming blade or some such on holdover, and work from there.
Okay, what are your thoughts here? I talked about the last screen that looks something like this, so I'm curious to hear your triple crown analysis.
So I like Draft. I like Draft as a unit. I do struggle a little with the fact that it's not a banning unit a lot of the time when I'm drafting it. It's because I specifically want it at a certain time and I'm going to scale with it. So I've started thinking of it more as a spell. And I think that's like a really, really useful way of thinking about it. Yeah, sure, it's versatile. You can use it in other ways, but broadly, I think of it as a spell. I think of it as a spell right now that kind of overlines with the way that we want to provide buffs to the Animus of Will, so I don't necessarily think it's great in this position. I also think that it's another unit that wants to be reformed consistently, and we don't have the like double reform saturation to be able to take it.
It's certainly double dipping into our dips.
Look, so I still like Dripfall. I don't necessarily think I want to draft a second one, though. I think we should take this molded. And I think we should take this molded because not only does it open it up to the possibility of actually reforming Animus of Will and Little Fade a little more easily because we have the higher saturation. Little Fade! But what it really does for us is it enables us to bloat the deck more with other cards that solve other problems and still keep our same draw consistency for the
Say that 100 times so I can sleep beautifully.
Teak, this card pick that I don't want added to the deck will allow us to take other cards I don't want added to the deck.
Yeah, so good. So by the way, I have one more thought about this draft too, which is kind of a weird one. Draft kind of does play like a spell, and I can imagine a world where you're like, you know what? We're just gonna avoid reforming it, and we're just gonna use it as a 20 damage spell. We took a Trader's Quill. Wouldn't we rather find some consume cards and use those as a spell? You know, like we have the potential to have such good front load and without diluting our other card pools, right? So,
it's like every card that says consume right now also says summon a draft on this floor with 15 by 2.
Exactly. Summon draft. I like the molded. I'm into that plan, man. I'm totally sold.
Hey, goes around, comes around.
I guess so. I like it here. I think I like it. I think I like it more than Sting. This Sting is honestly okay.
Okay, so I will go into drafting Stings. I've done that relatively commonly, but usually in an incant build or like in a Preserve Thorns kind of situation for the blush draw next turn. What is the value proposed by a Sting individually drafted by itself?
Right now, it's just the math fixing. I mean, like you saw that last round, we had a couple times to where we just needed about 10 more damage, you know, to land a kill or and because it at least gives you draw, like Root Seeds, it feels to me. I look at the Sting and I'm like, right now, that's better than a skip. If you have too many things that you're drawing like Sting to where you're like, dang it, my early turns are bad before my draw gets online because I'm drawing bad cards, then that becomes a problem. But right now, it's just a little math fixing, you know.
Okay.
But if we're math fixing, wouldn't we rather Vine Grasp and fix the math that way?
Yes. Yeah. Definitely happy to have that in the deck. Oh, okay. Well, actually, no. But maybe? So I saw the Thorned Hollow and I was like, oh, and then I saw the Seraph the Chase and I was like, oh. And I was like, but maybe, because that's a Paraffin Thug. That we could, it's just, we have so many things that want to compete for slays right now that it's really hard to take anything like this. If you were the Harvest Baron, the one that
That's the one I want.
Oh, give me.
I know. So, okay, so here's one question though. Do we need one more bigger body? And if so, do we ever consider just taking this Husk Hermit?
I think we do, but I think we have 2 unit banners in the future to fix that problem better than a Husk Hermit will. The Husk Hermit
Hermit has a pretty big health pool. I'm always surprised compared to other units how big the Husk Hermit's base health pool is.
Yeah, it's like the Hollows come in with more
too.
max HP, but it comes in with more current.
Yes, there are a few units that are coming in with more than 30 HP before buffs. It's a biggie boy.
The big thing about the Husk Hermit that I have a little bit of difficulty here with is like you want it to sweep for value, I guess, but if it does that, you're killing the units that best feed Little Fade.
Yeah, I think I'm only thinking about it as a health pool here, right? Yeah, because you're right. We're hoping, and in the case to where there are backliners, we put Little Icarus in front of Husk Hermit, and hopefully that gets some kills, and maybe this can sweep in other weird cases. But yeah, basically the sweep keyword here just doesn't exist in my mind. Okay. So you believe in the skip? You believe that we'll find another decent tanky unit? Because I just want 1 or 2.
I believe in the skip because I think that the Remnant banner and the Awoken banner are almost certainly going to be the 2 things that we go for next. I think a Merchant of Magic's really valuable for us right now.
And the Horde looks great. Like we could use some artifacts could give us direction right now.
Definitely true. So I think that I could relent and take the Husk Hermit based on just like the HP statistics for it, but I think we have 2 more opportunities to do that, and we've got a lot of better hits that we could get.
Are we confident in our major boss fight coming up? That would be the one thing that would push it the other way. Who do we have? Are we Daedalus or are we Talos?
We are Daedalus, and that is all of the units exploding for 1 damage dealt to us.
It's kind of cute.
That's a good question. How do we feel about that?
The damage matters against, like on the top line. Certainly the Husk Hermit would improve. It would make it easier for us to protect our Animus from the explosion damage, right? Like that's gonna hurt.
Let's actually take a second here, because we will have the Remnant draft before that, and my brain is like currently saying, no, the Remnant draft is fine. The Remnant draft is fine. The Remnant draft is fine. But will we actually have a problem? Let's have a look at this. How do I... Okay, specifically units, and don't need to look for common, uncommon. So Lady of the House fixes our problem. Like, we just take that stats for the front line. Obviously, banner, or non-banner.
Yeah. Draft non-banner also.
Lady of the Reforms could be it as well for the exact same reason.
Look at this, though. Wickless has less health, actually, than this. The only units with more health are Lady of the Reformed. Big Sludge is tied, which would be cool.
Wickless Baron and Legion of Wax Tycoon are both really good for it as well.
Oh, Wickless Banner, yeah, because it's going to effectively have more health, right? I feel like we've got good odds here. Heck, even Paraffin Enforcer has enough health to get us through. It's not like ideal, but we could do much better than the sweeper, right?
Yeah,
with some of those units.
Let's find it.
I'm with it. Nice.
Let's also go artifact first.
Yeah.
Well, good lord.
There it is. There it is.
It's up against
there's Thornfruit. Oh god.
So if Sting says draw this card in order to draw an extra card next turn, also deal 10 damage to fix, Thornfruit says for free every single turn, draw an extra card next turn and fix.
Wow.
So let's revisit why we wanted the combustible wax, right? We might learn where we are through that revisit, right? So it's for the ability to multiply reform the Animus of Will and Little Fade, capitalize off of the stat growth that they get in that way, but also have longevity for them to be able to fight the bosses.
That's right. That's the 100% it is. We don't want them to die to burnout in relentless fights.
So in some ways, that is our scaling plan, our scaling defense plan. It's not obviously all of our scaling defense plan, but it's part of it, right?
Yep.
So what is Thorn Fruit then? Thorn Fruit is more utility, is more draw.
Well, and it's consistency too, right? I mean, we really are drawing an extra card every turn but the first.
Yep.
And so that means that if we can find other cards which can give us that longevity, then Thorn Fruit is the pick. Right now, and this gets weird because right now I don't think that combustible wax will matter for the next couple floors. I think we're getting enough turns out of our units with the rate that Little Icarus is scaling that they have enough burnout to survive. But 3 turns is an eternity. It's like that could really matter against someone like the Seraph.
Okay, so here's another level to think about this on. Thorn Fruit is an artifact that desperately wants other artifacts. Now, Thorn Fruit's fine by itself, don't get me wrong. But if you get a piercing in there and you get the plus 20 damage, or plus 30, you get those modifiers as well, and suddenly it's ridiculous. But we also have Little Fade, who has spikes related to them. So we have a lot of different hits, should we take Thorn Fruit, at almost any relic spot. It's going to be really hard for us to not find a relic that is very, very useful.
Yeah. Wait.
I'm leaning Thorn
I'm confused how that relates to Thorn Fruit. In some ways that makes it seem weaker because we have non-sting relics that we really enjoy taking.
Oh, okay. So I'm thinking more of like it makes it more likely for us to go to those locations and find a hit. It's not that we have to take the Thorn Fruit one over something else. It's just that we would take Thorn Fruit or a different relic that happens to support our builds quite well. And now, because of that, any Herzl's Horde is quite likely to have something good for us. Sure, 2 things good for us might compete against one another occasionally, but
I see.
It's there's just more hits in that pool. There's more outs in the relic pool.
Gosh. Okay. I'm at peace with Thorn Fruit. This makes, in addition to the fact that we already are a little bit worried about Seraph the Chaste, I would say that we're taking out an even further loan against our floor 8.
Should we do that?
But I'm fairly confident that we can solve it. The biggest thing is that this may require us even more to do weird things like play Animus of Will out on floor 2 instead of floor 3 and multi-floor boss fights. And that means that things like Holdover Unmolded, having more ways to get not even just 1, but oftentimes 2 reform cards in a hand can become a pretty big deal. And Thorn Fruit helps us do that.
How do we multi-floor a boss fight if we're reforming a unit that then goes onto the dazed floor?
Well,
because it would have to reform so many times.
You have to reform it many times beforehand, right? We would have to be reforming it a lot, or have ways to extend burnout or to remove burnout, which we could still find. We could still find the card.
We could, but that's 1 rare.
Yeah, it is. You're totally right. It is 1 rare. Yep.
Okay, so I think the biggest thing that I'm looking at in terms of these is, do we have any other scaling defense plan that doesn't require us having something like combustible wax? And I think that still exists in this Awoken banner, and then I'm worried.
Right, exactly. And dude, I think we should think we should take this combustible wax. I really do. I think we should. I'm worried.
We found
oh wow. Oh, that's really cool actually.
That's a lot of burnout.
Combustible Wax Lady is absurd. Like, if we really never want burnout to be a problem for certain lanes, yeah, no lie. It also makes reforming Animus of Will even more desirable.
Yeah, I wonder if this puts us in a position where we can put, like, the Lady of the Reformed on the top line, Little Fade and Animus of Will just go on the bottom lines and get sacked effectively in the early waves, and then we just pop them up on the top line and, okay, create a 1-floor straight. I just heard myself.
But you know, you don't cut yourself down here, because this is the central conceit of Melting Remnant, is that you have all these cool unit and spell strategies to deal with waves. But then you do have to settle down and build a home, white picket fence, 2.5 kids at some point, because Seraph is going to come along. And so, and while you can step the boss, and we still might, you need to be able to live on that floor for quite some time.
Okay.
Right?
So this to me at the moment looks like a 401k. It is a useful tool in getting us towards that white picket fence with the
Absolutely.
a nuclear family with 1.5 children and a dog named Rex. Oh
yeah,
okay.
and woo.
Okay.
What a day, man! Happy Monster Train, Rhapsody. This has been just what the doctor ordered for me so far.
I could not agree more. This rubble looks really good when you consider the upgraded versions deal 30 damage to a front enemy unit for us. They're effectively the stings we didn't get.
It's true. Wow, that's actually true. They do quite a bit of damage and accelerate us. Is it 2 floors until they go live?
2 floors, yes.
When are we going to start upgrading our things to be cheap? Because I will say that I usually take Abandoned Stave here. Mm-hmm. Now, I'm also not a player to always do the thing that I usually take, and I am leaning Remove the Rubble. Mm-hmm. But we're at Covenant 10. How many blights do we have?
1. So it would be 1 extra energy per turn.
Okay. Well, then it's almost definitely Remove the Rubble.
Yes. So this, as we're kind of hinting towards here, this gets significantly better when you have 2 dead weights in your base deck and get 2 energy per turn with it.
That's wild, right? You take a little bit of inconsistency for double boss relic. Mm-hmm. Absolutely worth.
It's like the amount of times that I've gotten that and I've been like, well, I'm justified in not taking energy for the rest of this run. I mean, whew, it's an easy one. Explosive Sigil.
This is interesting because it's very Melting Remnant and Umbra are the 2 classes where I'm most likely to take capacity after a boss. Mm-hmm. This run is like in a position where I'm not sure that we do. We aren't using as many units as I typically am with Melting Remnant. Not to say that we won't be throwing in more stats and tombs and things later on. But especially having not managed to draft any of the real beefy units, like a Big Sludge or something, we're kind of doing okay on pips.
Can we actually get a Big Sludge from the rare draft after this?
We could.
Okay. I would really, really like to see that.
That would be sweet.
My game plan for this is Little Fade goes on the bottom floor. Animus does not go in the middle this time, instead goes on the top and hits the root seeds.
Yeah. So that she has a chance to finish killing these?
Yes.
Love. Let's get some big scaling. She has become so strong already, and she will only get stronger. Mm-hmm. For and with us. So...
I mean, this has burnout 6. It can live on the top floor without taking any damage for a while.
Yeah. Do we...
I wonder if Razor Sharp Edge now counts as damaging it.
Oh man, with the most recent change?
Yeah.
Oh, that would be sweet. For sure the Vine Grasp does too, which is like...
Oh yeah, okay, we'll definitely be fine in the rest of the deck cycle then.
Yeah. The only thing I was wondering was like if we ever wanted to get Animus to die off one time, but I'm like 99% confident that with this little Icarus helping with damage, we're going to bring down Daedalus.
Yeah,
I'm not worried.
I don't foresee a problem there. That's why I was
need to cut these stewards.
Place. Yeah, no kidding. Absolute dead weight. And not in the fun way that would have allowed us to take the stave. Okay.
Quick.
It's not okay, so it's not even going to show me it. I don't think I want to try when it's compared to like 30 damage on an Animus of Will.
That's pretty fair. That makes a lot of sense to me. Where are we reforming our
mid floor? It's going to get all of them.
Right? Oh my gosh, she's just sweeping.
So
she's a monster.
Oh my god, give us the card. You know the card. Give us the card, Daedalus. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Don't pretend you don't. You know exactly which card I'm talking about. Adaptive mutation, of course.
Feed me.
Does it have to be human? Does it have to be mine? I mean, we could throw that.
Ooh, I love that. Because then we get all the kills, right? Oh, wait, no.
No, we don't. It's because they're only they're extinguishers that we don't get all the kills.
In that case...
I don't think we pass.
We just do nothing. I mean, we could, like, daze Daedalus for a turn.
Get dazed.
Just to say that we did it.
Yeah.
Just as, like, a flex.
Okay. So we'll allow that one to collect that kill on that floor, because then we get 2 kills on the second floor.
I mean
we
Speedster up top is quick anyway. We should do it second floor for. I think we should do it second floor. We can collect these kills.
Okay.
We're so strong, man.
Yeah, this top.
We drew through a lot of our reform, which means we could miss on reforming the turn after this. But I'm not too worried about that. Ooh, and we have also Dripfall here. We get pretty close to just lethal.
Yeah, no kidding. If we can get the Lil Fade in the actually, yeah, literally,
she
if
gets
it's
beaten.
in the front line, she kills.
Oh no, but quick is the problem. Animus too fast.
Dang, you're right. Okay, what we need is Dripfall again, and then we Dripfall our own Animus.
That's actually brilliant. That's hilarious. Or like try to kill it. Okay, well, we didn't get a reform anyway.
Wait. Deal 20. Okay, so we didn't get a reform, but we could have Vine Grass and then Mortal Entrapment.
Lil Fade will be fed, regardless of what you think. Oh, man. What?
Yeah, what?
Is it ever Shard Channeler?
So, it could be.
Like, not, right? No.
It is in the worlds that we end up with the Flixie Doozy and the adaptive mutation, but I think we live in the world where that's an awoken rail spike.
Yeah, I think so too. And the thing is like the amount of spikes that she's gonna have by end game is so high, and we're reforming. So even in the Seraph the Chase fight, we're gonna reform her once Relentless starts. At which point we can still just do the adaptive mutation thing and win that way, right?
Yep.
Which, if that happens. I like this rail spike a lot. It's quite good.
If quick, maintained through reforms, that might be interesting on Lil Fade.
That would be really good as a safe way to kill off frontliners. Yeah.
It's unfortunate
Shard Channeler is pretty rad.
Look, I love Shard Channeler, and honestly, when it did come up, I looked at it a second like, hang on.
Double spikes damage? That's so much. There's a chance that we have on the order of 200 spikes by the time we get to Seraph.
Yep.
We could be doing 1,200 damage a round.
So we could. That is an optimal play, though. I think the real one is this. Especially with the root seeds in the deck, those becoming 0 cost is obviously absolutely ridiculous for us.
Yeah.
We've also got these calcified embers that are going to become excavated embers, giving us the ability to get extra energy for this a lot more easily.
How many Merchant of Magic are we going to hit? Because we're going to make those 0 cost, right?
We're hitting one in the next area.
Let's take this rail spike, and then let's take energy.
Rail spike and then energy, eh?
Oh yeah, rail spike also does 30 damage. Oh, it's great.
It does. And then energy.
Yeah.
That's a really weird way to pronounce draw. I don't really care about any of these right now.
Yeah, we could skip them.
You're right.
It's weird. I'm almost always taking pips or draw, but I actually really like this energy.
Nothing we really want to perma here. I mean, maybe Mortal Entrapment, but only if the boss wasn't Seraph the Chased. Or rather, it's best if the boss wasn't Seraph the Chased.
Honestly?
Really?
That's still good in Seraph the Chase, right? Because, consider that you're going to use it once Relentless starts, mostly, right? Or as a way to deal with a particularly nasty unit that you kind of lost track of. That's not bad. I think the weakest part about this is it's not bad, and we need to be convinced that it's 85 gold good.
Yes.
Right? And that's the biggest thing.
This put on anything, and yeah, I agree Mortal Entrapment has more value from it, but I think almost any other 85 gold put on almost anything else is better for us right now.
Yeah. I'm still tempted by it. What else was on this floor, by the way? I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Oh, the big one is the Awoken unit that we should probably have a look at right now.
Let's check it. What you go?
Oh, come on.
So many hollows. If we weren't exiled,
Yeah, no kidding.
I think we can make do with the units that we have. And we can always upgrade them and dupe 1 or 2 of them. And I don't even think that would be foolish.
Yeah, especially having the quick on the Animus of Will makes it a really, really good dupe type.
Or duping our lady, even, just to have just to have more beef on more floors.
One redundant lady.
Our ladies of the Reformed.
Actually, it's starting to sound like some of the schools I attended as a kid. I could get down with that. I do think we passed here probably though.
Yeah, agreed. And are we cutting to stewards?
Definitely. I want to go for the -1 on the Awoken and then reroll.
Okay. We don't have anything to put this +20 damage on, do we?
Nothing at all. Whoop. Okay, well now this looks a lot better.
Sure does. That's pretty great card, man.
Sure
That's an answer to so many bosses.
We're also a multi-floor boss killer a lot of the time, which means that from the second floor on, this is a valid play.
Yep.
Take that and
I
reduce
love
the
that
cost.
play. Yeah. Makes me wonder if that was our frozen target with that, because we do have 4 energy now. But we'll get to it.
We'll end up there, hopefully. I mean, +10 on a restoration detonation on Vinegrass. We're not really healing units consistently.
Oh, I guess we could have put
+20.
+20. We could have put +20 and consume on one of these, actually. That's not too bad.
We could have.
But then they explode.
You're right, they explode, but also, like, usually that's excess to the amount of damage you need to deal as well as health you need to deal with this card.
For sure.
Well,
that would be a
to...
second effect, right? You would do the damage and then you would do the Trader's Quill damage?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It's like +20, +30. Or actually +100, +30, which is absurd. Maybe we should have done that. I had forgotten about the resto deaths, to be honest.
Yeah, I honestly, when I was thinking about the +20, I was like, oh, we only have one thing in the deck
we
that
have
can
no
go on
damage.
it. It's Mortal Entrapment.
Yeah. Same.
I
That's
like
okay.
the +10 here because Lady of the Reformed is eventually going to need health support.
Oh, absolutely agree. That was a solid floor for us.
Yeah, no kidding. Ooh. It's never... Right?
So I do like hybridizing Lil Icarus sometimes because I find that she scales plenty fast. And some of the hybridizations make her much safer. I usually do the other one, which gives her a larger buff and then increased cost. But you need relics to support that for it to really be incredible. You either need to be able to then like play her for free in some way, or you need to be able to like cycle her with intent on death. Right? That's such a strong card. Or you need some relics that reduce cost of summons. And so Firelight is interesting here because it's a fair amount of increased life, and it can help us increase our burnout, especially with combustible wax. That doesn't hurt us, right?
It buffs an Animus of Will. There is a future where we get a Lil Fade and 2 Animuses of Will on the same floor.
Yeah.
Don't really run the Lady of the Reform there at the time. But we
just do so much.
Kill our Firelight repeatedly. They're quick, so the only thing they really need to worry about is scaling defense against bosses. And I mean, like, we can try and provide that using the Mortal Entrapment and the extra day support from Dripfall, maybe.
So basically what the discussion has to come down to is, are we planning to go to level 2 with the thing that we hybridize into? If not, then that means we're planning to go to level 2 with Lil Icarus, and it's generally better to do that now, right?
Okay.
Because then we get more effect of the scaling. And I do think that Lil Icarus 2 will be more than good until our next major boss. I believe that.
I think if we hybridize at all, we have to do that now, as not only as you just said, but also because Little Icarus 2 versus Little Icarus 1, like, the scaling increases, sure, but you start using it less and less over the course of the rest of the game for scaling and more for its initial impact.
To finish things off.
And this Firelight's second level with the extra damage that it gives to a 3x multi-strike unit, I think is where we would end up. So yeah, if we're hybridizing, we're clicking Firelight and going to Firelight 2. Otherwise, we're going Little Icarus and probably Little Icarus 3.
Little Icarus 3 just goes to +5/+5, right?
I thought it was +4/+4. I don't think it's one of the non-linear ones.
Oh, it's 4/4. Interesting. And
then
you get
I'll double check though.
1 more floor to use it afterwards.
Yeah, 4/4. You only get one more. Yeah, exactly. Like the utilization of Little Icarus 3 is a weird one to me. It feels like there could be an additional change because it feels.
Oh my God, the Eternal. I've never run Eternal Flame 3. It says plus 140.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. 25, 70, 140.
That's so absurd. That's awesome. So
Hey,
what's Firelight
2 is
2?
15.
15.5.
That's 45
Man,
every time it dies.
Pretty cool multi-classing, isn't it?
That is not only really good multi-classing, but also it opens us up to Extinguish and Intent to Death being some of the best cards we have access to. When do we... Oh god, our first Hellvent is after Arcus.
Wow, that's wild. That's pretty rare.
That's really
I mean, we passed one earlier, so...
Yeah, it's true.
I'm into this Firelight. I think that we can win either way. And if we wanted to just get Lil Fade's numbers into the stratosphere, then we just go like Little Icarus 3, and I think we can win that way. But I think that Firelight has a little smoother edges.
No, we're wrong. Well, we're both wrong.
Why?
Here's why. Because of the combustible wax. How are we ever gonna kill Little Fade? Right? It comes back with Burnout, and it's next to 2 units that have quick and damage buffs on them.
Oh, and we can never kill it on that. That's interesting.
We have like very little self damage at all in the entire deck.
They're too fast. They're too fast for her to die.
Oh my god, the plus 25, plus 5, plus 10 was correct.
It's actually too strong. Oh, we can never play her on that row, which means the Extinguish is really just a buff for her anyway. You want to go full spikes, man? You want to just go Little Icarus 3?
Let's get
I didn't
spiky.
think about the quick just totally massacring that plan.
I am so
That's
glad.
hilarious.
I'm going to personally thank the 2 neurons in my head that decided to get together and come up with that realization.
I mean, it still might have been an okay in-game plan, you know, but I like this. I want to show what Little Icarus can do, like kind of by herself, and that's what we've been doing. She still needs support as you're setting her up, and you know it's just 1 unit. Like you can't win with most single units, but she's so.
She is.
We can take this challenge, man.
Strong. Can we?
Yeah, and the reason we can take this challenge is because we have quick on the top line.
So my worry here is the Clipped Reflector goes from dealing 5 to dealing 11. Which means that it kills Lil Fade, Lil Fade's first reform, Lil Fade's second reform. And then it's to the 3rd reform before we actually start having the ability to kill the cool marksman in the back line. And then this unit still has 80 armor, which is a lot compared to the Animus of Will's 24 damage.
We have a drip fall.
Okay.
And like a vine grass. So it will reduce the amount of scaling we can do. That's just absolutely true. But as much as I want to see Little Fade's numbers get into the millions, and I do, 150 gold right now is a lot, and we're still kind of fixing things up. So I think if it denies us a couple slays, but we can still do it safely, I think this is worth.
Okay.
And I think we can because of our top line. And we will begin allowing the death.
Right, because we can sack Animus of Will in this one.
Oh yeah, we can.
I wonder.
But we drew 2 reform cards here.
Yeah.
Are you thinking about letting the death happen?
Yes. Thinking about like Animus of Will and Little Fade on the bottom floor, because then we actually kill the Clipped Reflector in the front line. The Little Fade doesn't die in that instance though, because the Animus takes both hits.
Oh, you're putting it in the front.
Oh no, it'd be in the back.
Fade.
Go there.
Yeah, I'm saying you put the Animus in the front.
Yes.
It gets its hits in. It dies. Lil Fade's in the back. She gets her hit in. It kills the front, but then the one in the back doesn't die, I guess. But then we've already drawn through 2 of our 6 reform cards. 7.
2 of us 7, yeah.
Yeah. We're at 4 starting cards now. I'm really torn, right? Like, I think Animus of Will up top will be enough. This is a slightly better opener, and then Animus gets better up top. We didn't take draw. We have no root seeds in this hand. but it at least gets us a kill, and it gets Lil Faye to kill right away. And then she dies next turn, I guess.
Next turn after getting no kill, though?
Well, she gets a kill this turn.
Yeah.
Right?
I think the safety play of Lady Animus, buff the Animus, just use Lil Fade on these 2 floors is probably still relevant.
Okay, I like it. And we just have to make sure to reform on a floor other than the Incant Man, I guess.
Hey! Actually, hey.
Ooh.
Yeah, we're all good. Just send out the damage.
Send the damage. Where is my fade? This also means that we're guaranteed fade here, which is great.
Rude. I want to vine grasp you to the front, but I can't do it without killing you.
I mean,
I think we still kill it.
It's getting killed up top either way, right? So it's worth doing just for the simplicity of things. Oh, 63,
wait. 32.
Do we need to vine grasp our own lady? Just for the extension here?
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
And it opens our resto debt, too, in case we need that on a future turn, so it's not bad.
Yeah, no kidding. Okay, I like that play.
That turn definitely indicated to me that it would be nice to secure a bit more draw, because we are kind of depending on the consistency with which we draw our reforms, you know?
63,
hey,
so we actually get
now.
the Clip Defender.
Yeah. Nice.
Double Root Seeds on top and just continues out. I'm glad that we haven't got as much draw for only one reason, and that's because it simplifies the space of the turns I have to look at.
It sure does. That's very true. So hold up 1 second.
Yeah. Here's
a proposal. Drip fall that incant unit, and then play the Awoken Rail Spike.
Okay. Here's my counter to that. The Little Fade comes back with 16. If we play it on this floor and then play the Little Fade, it can kill the Clipped Reflector and the Quill Marksman.
Okay. But the other way, it kills both of the Quill Marksmen, and we have a chance to bring it back to kill the Clipped Reflector.
Oh, sorry. You're saying Drip fall this and then play the Awoken Rail Spike on that floor?
Yeah. Because then it cancels out the armor.
Yep.
And we have a pretty good chance to reform, and we get 3 slays.
I like it.
Slays for days, as we say in the biz.
It is very commonly said in the biz.
It's pretty common in the biz to say those words.
Yeah, I like this a lot. Yeah, this... Good.
Feels like money. And our draw was likely to have a reform here because we had drawn through those other cards. We like cycled on that Awoken Rail Spike, right? We were at the shuffle. We did some shuffle manipulation.
Hang on. So you're currently dealing 66 damage in quick. This unit will live through that and then attack. We've got Burnout 7 on the Little Fade. Should we drip fall the boss Little Fade on bottom line, getting both the Quill Marksman's dead, and then we have the opportunity on the next 2 floors, like possibility of burning it out on this floor again if we really want to for the individual kill against the Porcupine, or possibility of playing it on the top floor for killing the Clipped Reflector?
Oh, I kind of like that. I like that a lot. Should we Vine Grasp our lady of our ladies of
perpetual burnout? Yeah, let's do it.
Perpetual burnout. Right. We could even have manipulated like the shield here if we needed to do slightly less damage. So is the plan then to play her out, just play her out up top?
Yeah, we play her out up top and then we model in trap. We can't model in trap yet. It's fine. We just play her out on top. It'll be fine.
Okay.
It is going to be fine, right? Hang on. 11, 23. So this will take 2 hits to the enemy, dealing 78 damage back. On the second hit, it will take 107 back. And it's taking 66 the entire time. Takes... This is a little... Oh, never mind. Razor Sharp Edge. Quicker.
We found the answer. Plus 30 damage a turn.
Turns out plus 30 damage a turn is pretty good. Yeah, it's weird.
We won. Who gets the kill? Who's the killer?
That is the question.
Oh, we can resto debt Lil Fade.
Yeah. We might be able to change the ties of this. It's another 50 damage, but it gets us to... Well, I mean, it only gets us to live through 2 attacks, right? Which we're already living through. So all it's doing is, 50 damage.
Some damage, which is relevant, but you're right. We still
it's
die on the
relevant,
second attack.
But it might change, like, the killing target.
Yeah.
15.
Okay.
I don't think we ever kill with Lil Fade with it only living for 2 turns.
Well, so how much extra damage do we get if we rest Odette and Razor Sharp? Because also Quick comes in before the attack. So the Razor Sharp here puts them up to 120-ish range. That, and then 120 next turn too. That's like 240. Another 50 is like 290. They're at like 300. That's like right on the edge of Lil Fade getting the kill, actually. Right? Because 81 from the Thorns. Rest Odette on Little, and then I think Root Seeds and Razor Sharp on the back line, and that might be a Lil Fade kill with the spikes.
I want to see it. I think Lil Fade dies the round before it happens, but I might be just miscounting Quicks.
It's real close because of her attack.
I was wrong.
Bop. Yeah, baby.
Well
ooh. GG.
That was really good. GG, Teak.
We had to do both.
Oh, we just found the solution for the Firelight.
We didn't know that we'd find a subsuming blade, in fairness.
That's true.
It's still, well, it still feels like it's pretty good. I guess Fatal Melting is not as good as it usually is.
Yeah, no kidding. We're only sacking 1 unit relatively consistently.
I feel like the reason that I'm tempted by this subsuming blade is that even if we can't use it consistently, it still solves those ridiculous super armor units that do 0 damage. And that's like good enough because they only count as 1 slay.
Are those not solved with Dripfall and Vine Grasp already being in the deck?
Like mostly, probably, and our damage number on Lil Fade is pretty high, right? Yeah. I do like the ability to kill off our own units, though, I will say. Like, just having the turn to where we can finish off Fade or something is pretty nice.
That isn't bad, but I wonder if we already have, like, units, or rather, we already have spells that want exactly what the Subsuming Blade wants in terms of upgrades. So we want to reduce cost. We can easily put that on Root Seeds, or even still into the Woken Rail Spike.
The Rail Spike, yeah. Which is very dupable, by the way. I would take 2 double Ember Rail Spikes right now.
I'd absolutely love it. We're also in the position where Holdover definitely wants to go on a Molded.
Yeah, agreed.
I mean, it theoretically could go on a Razor Sharp Edge. If we
and that wouldn't
really
even be awful, right? Okay, let's skip. I'm into it. I love Subsuming Blade, and it's plenty early, but I would agree that it's not at its best here. If we wanted to have 1 spell just to improve our ability to kill frontliners, there it is.
100%. Just click it.
I like it.
Thank you for the embers.
Love it.
Now, I wanted to go to the Merchant of Magic here.
When's our next Merchant of Steel if we skip this one? Because we do want some stuff on Our Lady of having burnout.
That's is 7th ring, and then there's an 8th ring as well.
Okay.
This one is opposite our Hellvent, and then the one at the bottom is also opposite our Hellvent.
Ugh. So we'll never Hellvent if we have to Merchant of Steel later. Oh, that might be okay. I mean, it's certainly okay, but is it desirable? Yeah.
Well, how about this, right? What if the Lady of the Reform dies? We have a deck full of Reform.
Lady of Reform. Yeah, Reform the Lady. Except for against relentless bosses, I guess. But then we can like do more dazed and stuff for that. And plus, I think that our raw output is going to be obscene.
Yes, our damage should not matter by that. Or rather, the amount of damage that we can take should only really matter insofar as it buys us 2 rounds worth of damage against the enemy.
C25 is really big for this kind of deck. When you add a significant amount of health to the Seraph, it makes some of this math a bit different. But I freaking love getting another relic right now and looking at some spells. Let's do it up.
Consume removal does exist here.
You know, it occurs to me that Root Split Mask is not horrible. But I don't know how much it does for us.
That's what I'm thinking
Priory's
at the moment, right?
Is even more splash damage. Priories plus Traders is like we're getting kind of cool.
Yeah, we've got the ability to kind of like suddenly nuke down frontliners with a couple different things at the moment. I'm looking at that root splits and I wonder like 105 HP enemies and then the 140s. They're probably not going to die because the Animus of Will is going to be really, really hard to scale that quickly to the point it can kill those. And then
and we're focused on getting kills below with the yeah.
And
so maybe root split does save us some significant.
Maybe it does.
Yeah, because part of me is like, I would love to skip here and then go to the trinket shop. Root split probably better than skip. Health is money, friend, or something.
I want to do that, and then I want to anti-consume one of the XCav embers.
Oh, that's cute. I like that.
Cool. So say
that loses its damage.
Yeah, like, you're right. We're giving up the damage on it, unfortunately.
Like actively not ideal.
Let's get back one of the energy at the absolute least. Permafrost
so it's
on
just
Bramblelash?
Gain 2 energy, self-replace.
Yeah.
Permafrost Bramblelash looks pretty good, man. Yeah, that's gonna be like a 500+ damage spell. That's awesome.
Maybe this doesn't need the cost reduction, actually. Because how are we utilizing 5 energy in a hand that has 5 cards with this deck, right?
Maybe it's better to put that energy. Maybe we go perma plus minus energy on the Bramblelash, since it's probably getting passed over by the minus energy on the Rail Spike. I like that.
Okay.
That feels good.
Good. Down with that plan. And then do we really want to get the second Restoration Detonation on the same level?
I actually do think that that's pretty good. I would take also the plus 20 with Consume, right? We've gotten some value out of this Trader's Quill, but stonks go up. We'll get more.
Speaking of stonks, that random artifact could be ridiculous stonks for us, but it does mean the Clipped Guardian is making it to the top floor with a bunch of damage and a bunch of HP.
Yeah,
but we there for 2 turns.
I think we got it. I think we've got it. If that was a level C25 Gilded Wing, or whatever they're the 190 health fools, then we're in trouble. But I think we slash this fool. Unfortunate that the sycophants grow as they die to spikes, you know?
Yeah, no kidding. It's going to make them harder to do, but at least 2 of them still die to this one. Do we want Animus of Will dead in this one for the scaling, actually?
Ooh.
Popping it on the bottom floor would be really bad, though. Actually,
how are we killing the Collector?
That would be Animus of Will and Little Fade go on this floor for this turn.
Is the money worth more than the scaling?
75. Merchant Trinkets is in the next area next to a Forgotten Boons.
Yeah.
It's actually worth a lot.
That's a lot of cash. And we're not getting money from this.
We could literally just go Animus of Will and then Shiny Steward behind it, get all the collection on this floor, and then a Little Fade on the bottom.
Little. Ooh. Oh, I like that.
Yep. Well, are we protecting the Shiny Steward because we don't want it to die and don't want it to reform?
We certainly want Animus of Will to die before it does. I like it in the back here, yeah. I agree with that play.
Cool.
Little Fade trying to get some kills. Couple.
So we're always on this bottom floor killing 2 of these units, right? Because,
for now.
Well, yes, for now. But if we use Bramblelash, we still kill 2 of them, right? Because this goes to 4 and then this goes to 6. But the 4 and the 6 still attack us. So we could Bramblelash in order to get one of these down.
That is true. Do we ever need to hold it for Ye Cloaked Wing? Like, will we get back fast enough?
Do we get to play it against Cloaked Wing? Because aren't we always putting Little Fade on the bottom floor for taking care of the new set of Sycophants? When does it go up and have the ability to hit a Clipped Wing with it in this cycle?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Stealth Boss.
Oh!
Since Stealth Boss, 8 turns of Stealth is a big deal, so we might need a little bit of help damaging it.
Right, so hold on to it literally until that.
Literally the whole game, since it just says do 500 damage. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I do like having additional plans against that because I am worried about that boss.
I'm a little worried about it, right? I also liked getting the 1 more kill here, but I didn't see it as worth as much as having some like additional answers for Stealthy McStealtherson.
Hey, look at that. We get the Animus of Will down, and we also get the extra kills on that floor.
Ooh, who are we letting die to the Traitor's Quill here? Are we splashing damage to the bot row? Or are we just
I was going to go for
things
the
in a
splash on the
second?
bot.
Yeah.
Because in the second, like, I don't want to change the math of this floor. I want the Animus of Will to die. I want 2 Sycophants dead.
We can still do that this way because the damage increases for the back line, right? She'll always die to the back line no matter how many Sycophants we kill.
Oh, you're right. But all that does is allocate more damage to Eclipse Guardian that heals fully when it goes up next floor.
Nah, wow, that's true. I forgot about that. Okay. So we hit this shield. Nice. Ooh, Trip Fall exists. What we want is to reform. No,
Yeah, no kidding.
not allowed. Not allowed. Okay, fair.
I
At
mean,
least the razor sharp sticks. Yeah.
Let's drop that on you and all the extra damage as well. We don't want to overstack any individual floor too much, so I don't want to drip fall anything.
I tend to agree.
God, is this just pass now? Is that where we are?
That does sure do appear to be where we are.
Because then this gets played again next turn and doesn't have damage on Eclipse Guardian because it's dazed?
We could like weirdly drip fall this shiny steward so that it dies, but to what end? You know, like that just pollutes our random reform pool.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we just want to reform our lads.
I think we just click OK, and we're probably going to cede a lot of damage here, and I'm not happy with it, but it's going to have to happen. Oh,
That's
never
okay,
mind.
though.
You rooted for a turn.
Yeah. We're not ceding any damage. Yeah. It's just a matter of setting up to get more slays with Lilicarus, that's all. That's the only thing that matters now. Okay, where can she slay for days in the middle? Is she so strong?
So 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we appreciate? She gets the 2 and the 4 and the 6, and then dies.
Nice, that's a triple kill. It's good.
It's not half bad. Just trying to think if there's any cute play.
There's also Bramble Lashing one of these, but like who cares? They'll do damage after the Sycophants die, I guess. Just draw 4 cards. I like that too. What's in our draw, if you don't mind?
Sure. Excav Ember, 2 Primitive Molds, a Restoration Detonation.
Oh.
God, I wonder if it's not Awoken Rail Spike right now because we have a guaranteed.
Guaranteed. Yeah, and just do double root seeds instead so that we're drawing a lot.
Better scaling.
I think that's pretty good. Who's getting grasped of the vine?
We'll just go for a small amount of inconsequential damage from that. Ooh, love it. Good resto, Detto.
Are we ever playing out Lil Fade up top now in front of our lady?
I mean, what's she come back with? 102 spikes? Yeah, she kills everything if we do it. Well, no, she does. Wait, we have to stop buffing
I know,
the
it's
Animus
so
of Will
weird.
if we want to do that.
Well, but some of these units have pretty big health, right? So like if we don't resto debt, then the Animus of Will is only killing the frontliner.
Uh-huh.
And then Lil Fade still gets the back 2, and then she's in a position to just totally reap next turn.
Okay, let's do it. Still got root seeds though?
Is she reaping? She's gonna have no life. We have to draw another resto debt or something.
It does exist in the deck.
It could happen.
There's also the possibility that next turn we end up killing it with a Vine Grasp or a Mortal Entrapment and then reforming it.
Yeah, and that's even better. Okay, no, this is good. Yeah, the root seeds is worth just so that because we want to see more cards. I'm quite excited to get a draw gen.
Hey, we found the Vine Grasp. We can actually do that play.
I think that's fantastic.
Oh, there's the Resto Detto if we want to do it that way instead.
I think the Vine Grasp is better. Yeah.
Especially because we had the ability to choose our reform there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then we're holding on to Bramble Lash until the right turn. We'll probably find another Resto Detto. Do we Do we want to get enough HP on the Lady of the Reformed just with a single restoration detonation here, giving up a single slay? Well, I mean, it's not even giving up a single slay, right?
It's giving up. It's surprisingly giving up a slay because that Animus is splashing. And so this Animus would end up killing one of the sycophants. So yeah, we should avoid it. You're right.
Okay.
But we can afford to do the double root seeds, actually.
Come on,
it would have been giving up 2 slays too, because she should. Oh no, she was dazed. Right. So she didn't swing. Do you ever? Oh man. We could do some wild stuff. Did we determine if Razor Sharp counts as damage?
We didn't. Because it won't count as a damaged unit because it's -2 max HP and -2 current HP. It would have to be decoupled to worry about damage. I was looking at that as well. Like,
I don't like it. That's such a wild play, though, right?
God, I really wish that actually was the choice as well, just to make that wild play finally be correct in an instance.
Because it is so wild.
It's just Razor Sharp and then
I have a play here that I don't think is bad. It's Dripfall Our Lady.
Okay.
This buys us turns of losing stealth because she has so much health that she lives through some hits. And then it gives us a reform target next turn. And a pretty good one. Because then we can just get the kill with her up front, Lilicarus behind her. And then Bramble Lash is still there to do damage. Bramble Lash is pretty much going to be a kill if we can get through the front line here. Vine Grasp can help us with that too, if we find a Vine Grasp.
And we Dripfall before it. So we're really reliant on what, a reform next turn? I mean, we're pretty likely to get one with the...
Okay, but that opens another route, which is Dripfall Icarus.
I was thinking about
her.
So I was thinking about Dripfall Icarus because you Dripfall Icarus and then you have the ability to kill a Disciple Protector with like the Awoken Rail Spike or some such. So you actually get the Crystal Cloak's damage through to you. The problem is the Bramble Lash can't go through afterwards because it only has the... Like, specifically, it actually can happen. But you have to...
We can win this turn.
Get the Awoken Rail Spike. It gives you the Excavated Ember. You use the Activated Ember, use Bramble Lash.
I see. You were trying to get the kill that way. Oh, yeah. I see. I was just going to let Little Icarus get the kill on the front line. Oh, but she wouldn't because it doesn't attack.
Yeah.
We could... we could Dripfall Little Icarus, Razor Sharp Edge the frontliner. The frontliner kills Little Icarus. This is like... Next turn we reform her, and then we Bramble Lash.
I think we have to think about tricky things like this, because that Animus is never hitting the Crystal Cloak. Like, it's dying to our Thorns, or it's dying to the Bramble Lash.
Oh, man. No, but you know what? We can always... We have so many ways to land the Bramble Lash. Like, we could just play Awoken Rail Spike on the bottom row, and not move our Little Icarus, and next turn she's there, and she can get the kill right. So, we have some guaranteed lines for kills. Basically, the hard part now is not winning, it's... how many slays can we get? And maybe the answer is... Oh gosh, yeah. Bramble Lash is a ×5. It's an instant kill on the Cloakwing. That's amazing. Maybe the answer is that we actually Dripfall the Animus. And then that deals with the front line and unfortunately the back line. And then if the math is right, maybe we can get a kill next turn with Little Fade. And otherwise we've got the Bramble Lash. And at least we get one slay this turn.
Love it.
That's hilarious, man. This is great. This game is so good. Like, so what an overcomplicated exit. Okay.
It has exactly enough health to do that. Like, one less health and it would just die on the initial hit.
Yep.
And then we're... What, like... Awoken Rail Spike?
Probably doing some Rail Spike business.
This gives up a slay, though.
Yeah, not there.
Rail Spike top floor?
Bot row, I guess.
It's been frozen.
Yeah, topper. Yeah, topper mid, rather.
There's the Resto Deados we can't use.
Yeah, because it doesn't count as a slave for her, unfortunately, right? Too much damage.
Well,
too many damage.
It's end turn time. And then it's Bramble Lash time.
Can we ever get the slay with her? Probably not.
100%
right?
not. She, on maximum HP, had 21. She was capable of living through 2 hits from the enemy. The backline had no damage support, and we were definitely not getting out of stealth.
Yeah. Skip this.
We want to skip this for the plus 25 and the ability to continue utilizing the...
I think so, right?
Do we, though? Because, past this point, we have... What is it? We've got Arcus, then we've got the final 2 fights. We're starting to get to 3 HP on those backliners rather than 2 or 1.
So they live 1 time. And but this will just help to sweep them up before they get to the top or to deal with leaks. Maybe we do take it. Maybe you're right.
I mean, we are also about to go to a Merchant of Trinkets, though, so, like, I'm super keen with money.
I'm kind of inclined to skip this, actually.
Let's do it.
I think we're okay. Formless child.
I do want to have a run with the Formless Child at some point, because I feel like...
40 on our Animus.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just wild.
Just a bit hard for us to kill.
Yeah. Well, it's easy to let the Formless Child die. You put it in front of an enemy, and it dies.
Oh, right. So doing it, like, later in the first cycle.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's actually not terrible. That might be a good spell.
I wonder if, because our way of dealing with the Seraph the Chaste currently is through days, if we just have to take the Mortal Entrapment.
Another Mortal Entrapment.
Yeah.
I wouldn't mind. I do really like the card. It's quite good.
It really increases our saturation for the final 2 turns of drawing while the enemy is ascending in the Relentless phase. And we're definitely already going to have some damage on them early on because it's a flying boss.
Although, if we can just get any survivability into this little small Icarus, that's a kill by itself. Adaptive Mutation, it's coming, right? It's coming?
I ordered it.
Okay.
I did just get recently told that it has been handed off to a transferal facility. What the hell is transferal facility?
I don't know what that means. That's too much. Why it should just be here. Yeah, okay.
I couldn't agree more, but apparently it's going to be here on January 14th. So we'll just have to... It's going to be a long run.
Wow. We should take Mortal Entrapment.
Yeah.
To pass the time.
Definitely. Ooh. Ooh. Oh, whoa, though.
Oh, whoa.
So... Currently, we have no way of healing our units that doesn't steal slays, so there's a little bit of a consideration here going on.
I quite like this focus growth.
Focus growth?
Yeah.
But I'm looking at the Pyro.
Really?
Yeah. We just drafted another 3 cost into this deck.
True. It's not bad, and it's another... It's consume. It sure kills something, or does damage to it.
Definitely true. It also gives us the ease of taking the draw gem.
This deck still feels really tight to me, too. And I mean, it's just... Part of this is my C25 brain, to where I'm used to the run starting with even more stuff in it. But, like, with the Root Seeds and with the Rail Spike, this deck draws pretty quickly. I like this Pyro. I think it's cute. I like it.
Should
we'll get more Rail Spikes.
Go either of these 2 or skip?
I would also take Focus Growth before skip, but I also like this Pyro.
We'll do it.
I like it.
30 damage to a frontliner.
Trader's Quill matters. We're using it. We're getting that value.
Gimme value. Whoa, that's value.
Is it Splanville?
It's the Splanville, right? It's like we've got a 3 cost, a 3 cost, an X cost.
I'm kind of leaning Splanville.
Those 3 costs are a little hard to play though.
Cleansing Water is late. That's for the Cloakwing.
Yep.
We could re-roll and look at another set of things. Resin block.
Isn't bad.
It's not bad. It's big, and particularly for Animus, that's a big deal, right? And Animus is coming back with extra burnout because of the combustible wax.
Oh god, hang on. So wait, if we go resin block, we might find a giant amount of success in just duping the Animus of Will and letting them scale exclusively off of dying.
And
as soon as they stop dying, then they're strong enough to be fine.
Yeah, that's not bad. And like split anvil is so what's the point of split anvil? Split anvil is an energy relic. You play
Mhm.
split anvil when you can take advantage of it to play out more cards for more value. We are skipping some cards. How often are we left with cards in our hand that we really, really wish that we could have played?
Mm.
I feel like our energy's in okay shape. We just took a Pyrogrow. We took an energy relic. We've
Mhm.
got Awoken Rail Spike to reduce the cost of cards in our deck. Our energy is pretty okay.
Taking a lot of cost reductions. We've got the SCAP
Mhm.
Embers. I agree. I'm actually more
Let's
keen
resin
on the
block.
resin block now.
Yeah. That's another solid in-game scaling strat.
Ooh.
More dazed. Dazed for dazed.
It is more dazed. Just not the hook. Just go for the trapdoor and pass.
I think it's trapdoor. Yeah. 2 days, 30 damage.
Not half bad. Not half bad.
You love to see it.
You absolutely do love to see it, don't you?
This has been a fun run because it's also very like. I mean, Little Fade encourages this a little bit more than the main faction lead, but because you don't have drag spam.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the lowest unit runs of Melting Remnant that I've ever done. Like 3 units.
Yeah, no
But
kidding.
it's great.
3 units is like near the high end of the amount of units I ever put in the deck as well.
Yeah.
Little Fade can go down on the bottom floor.
killing begins.
I'm just worried because I want the Animus of Will to start dying, and I don't know when it starts dying, if sycophants or what's coming out.
It's just not gonna really die against sycophants, right? What we could do is put it in the middle where it doesn't care about this shard, right? That doesn't matter. Or we could put it up top and plan to put it in front of the lady, so it has some chances. I think we're playing it always, and that leads me to think that we play it in the mid. Well, the middle makes it harder for us to get more kills too. We should just play it up top. We're
That's
not
what
gonna
I'm
have trouble
thinking, like,
outscaling this boss, right?
The Little Fade wants to go on the second floor for the second round, and this has quick, so.
Yeah. This quick has been surprisingly kind of a pain in the ass
Yeah.
to play around. I still like it because when it's good, it's great. And it's made our health needs much lower.
I also don't think we need to play Excavated Ember this turn. I think it's easier to get more value out of it later.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Okay, and then we are sticking with the plan of putting that behind Lady of the Reformed, or rather in front of the Lady of the Reformed.
I think so. I like that play. Play seems sweet. Oh god, she's growing so large.
Very, very, very big. Just spikes 1, 2, 3 tell you what it means to me. No, wait, that's RESPECT. I was trying to go with ABC. 1, 2, 3.
Something. We're gonna get there eventually. Also, in the worst case, we can always just vine grasp the lady to the front if it comes in game time. You know?
Yeah. If only we could vine grasp Arcus to the front and then Bramble Lash.
I'm just win.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Fight over because I said so.
Fight's done. Quit asking.
Yo!
Start vine grasping.
Yeah, because like now, like these do not say enemy unit. We can
You're
use
right.
mortal
We
entrapment
can use them to
him.
kill. You're right. We should do it. We should totally mortally entrap our own unit
Yes.
and tell them it's what they want. This is what you want.
Oh.
And it is. That's annoying. That's
You go
super
down.
unlucky. Right? Well. Yeah. Right? Just kind of. Do we trap shoot someone else? The perma cost is the problem, right? It'd be one thing if it was one turn, but like making all of these cards cost more. It's not the end of the world.
It isn't the end of the world is the thing. And we have like a lot? No, okay, we have 2 access to reform left in the deck. We do have 2 Excav Embers as well as the Awoken Rail Spike, so.
Well, Rogue and Rail Spike is not likely to get back to these root seeds, right? Not unless we play them. Just because of the draw. It's funky. We could
can do it later. There's another mortal entrapment in there. We don't have to do it now.
I think we should wait. I think we should maybe trap shoot something though on a different floor. Like, do we ever trap shoot the frontliner there, or who do we want? Basically, who do we want to sweeten the deal with for our little fade? So maybe it's a sycophant. Maybe we drop a sycophant down. Can Little Fade live through both of the other big liners on the bottom next turn?
Yes, yeah, it can live through them, and it even kills them as well. But I think we descend the clipped reflector because the damage on the next floor, if we kill the Animus of Will, we are sending someone to the top line, and I don't want the high HP unit.
You're right. That's smart. And Lil Fade will kill that too. That's perfect.
Oh, I didn't know that was going to work like that.
Actually, that's okay, because Lil Fade was never going to kill this one, so just cleanliness. That's funny how that works, actually.
Yeah, no kidding.
The consume goes off
no, it's fine to be dazed. We're okay.
Oh, but wow, we failed to get reform again.
Yeah, no kidding.
That is trouble.
Oh, and again.
Can we even play this Pyrogrow?
I mean, we Awoken Rail Spike and X-Stab next turn. We definitely can.
Okay, so it's solved. Okay. So then is Little Fade gonna come up top?
It has to next turn. Otherwise, this sucks so bad for us.
And they're rooted, so that's nice. We know the order that the shards go in. It goes bot floor next, right? Because it was mid, bot, top. I learned this in your comment section. It follows the same pattern twice. So that's cool. I didn't know that before. I knew that it wouldn't repeat itself, but I didn't realize it was always the exact same triplet.
Yeah, neither did I until that same comment. So thank you very much to the person who left it. Just Mortal Entrapment pass.
Are we mortal entrapping our... Are we mortal entrapping them? I think we can here because we've got 2 turns, right? Because they'll be rooted.
Let's do it.
I guess we could have drip fault someone too, but I'm not.
Nah, I'm not really sure where it would have even been targeted. Okay. Wait, we have to use a primitive mole first. Probably 2 times even.
Yes, that's quite important. We want them both. And this time, I think we're just putting Animus in the back. They're done being in front.
Okay, yeah, that looks like it worked out.
Sure did.
It even dies this turn.
Are we just, calling that the turn and Awoken Rail Spike somewhere else?
Yeah, because it doesn't accomplish anything right now, right?
It just frees our deck up, which is good. I mean, that's a thing.
It does free our deck up, but it draws 6 cards, and none of them really, like, there is nothing here that actually has an appreciable impact other than maybe the razor sharp edges.
Root seeds and stuff. We should do it.
It's true. Okay. I'm happy to do it. I would also be happy to leave this as a loaded gun in the deck.
Yeah, totally fair.
We have nothing from that.
That's very nothing. You're totally right, and we drew 3 of our 7 reform cards, but they're free now.
We will get back to the next cycle, thankfully. So,
is there anyone who we do want to be doing damage with these?
I mean, theoretically, but also as long as we have a reform, we're fine on this top floor. So, I'm kind of simplifying that out of the equation because we can all be dazed and we're still gonna be fine.
Oh gosh, that's even better for us actually, because all the kills happen on the Licorice. That's ideal. We wanted to be dazed. That's perfect. We desire to be dazed. You will daze me.
Please daze. It is a part of my plan to be dazed.
How do we stop that stinky Animus from killing both of these enemies?
I think we do. I think we're like, well done, Little Fade. You did it.
So in that case, do we just Vinegrass the lady to the front? Call that set up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's totally fine. I was honestly just thinking, like, Bramble Ash is going to end the fight, so...
Yeah, but we want Little Fade to get a chance.
It's a good point, well made.
Little Fade gets kills.
No damage from you ever.
Ever. Just don't. We're not into it. We'll never be into it. Okay. Kill math. Oh, God. Oh, man. Okay.
So we like the enemy does no damage to us for any of this round, so we can ignore any unit deaths. So we have 10, 217, and then 159 going in that order. So 10, 217 takes it to 227, and then 159.
Not that order, because Quick goes first.
Quick goes first, you're right, sorry. 159, then 10, 169, and then 217. Now I'm gonna need a calculator.
I'm doing it. I'm doing
All right,
it.
cheers.
Because at least we can get to the right round that we're on and like what the right number is, right?
Yes.
So it's 159 plus 217 plus 10. So each round 386 damage.
Yep.
386 times 4 is 1544. 386 times 3 is 1158. So it's on the 4th round that they die, coming from 1158 off, so that leaves them at about 250.
Yeah, they
less.
definitely died to the
They died to fade
at that rate. Yeah.
Yeah, it's perfect. We do nothing. Perfect. She does such a big damage number that we just had to line it up.
Yeah, no kidding. Spikes +3. Love seeing that little pop up right there.
She will grow.
Why? Why?
Huh. Okay, but hear me out.
Channel song, we intentionally pass over the Animus of Will in the first cycle.
Yeah, or even different. You don't even have to pass. One time we reform it and then just don't summon it. So we have multiple ways to feed this channel song. I kind of like it.
Yeah, plus 20 is like, it's huge.
Big.
It's plus 60 damage on
plus 60 damage around. Yeah.
It's also worth noting, if we do end up duping the Animus of Will, this can just be a fetch.
Yeah. True.
I don't think
Have you ever played the
need
Pokemon trading card game?
I have. What is so? Last week we had this weird confluence. If you asked me about something very specific that I've been thinking about recently,
Yeah,
and it was a weird conversation to have 2 days in a row because it's so specific. I was literally just having a conversation of that. Literally just having a conversation yesterday with my housemate who is starting to get into the Pokemon TCG online and was asking me, hey, have you ever played Pokemon TCG? Yeah, I played back in the day, back when the cards were ridiculously valuable.
Yeah. Okay, well, brief aside, very brief, because I need to keep it brief. When I was a kid, I loved the Pokemon TCG video game for the Game Boy. Do you remember that? We should take draw, I think.
Yeah.
My opine. And for Origins Tour earlier this year, that was one of the games that I played a little bit, Pokemon TCG, and I ended up having so much fun with it that I went back and finished it with one of my friends. And it was so wild because Pokemon TCG is the beginning of Pokemon TCG. Like that video game is like the vanilla, the V1. And now that I've played so many deck builder games, I realize just how busted some of those cards are. It's like a game where you're supposed to draw 1 card a turn, and there's just a card you can play. Cards don't have cost. There's no energy to play cards. And there's just a card that says you can draw 7 cards. And it's like, huh. So I just put this in my deck, and then I can play it, and it thins my deck out like substantially. This game has a minimum deck size. I can just put these in my deck. I can just play this.
Apparently, their legacy is real broken for that reason, and their vintage is also hugely
They're old
broken.
trainer cards. You can just ridiculous stuff. Also, speaking of ridiculous, this event, which lets you choose between boss relics.
It really does. So the only, like, we could theoretically go for the damage here, would amplify the damage on the Mortal Entrapment, but that's not why those are in the deck, so we're not going for Frozen Nostalgia. I've been thinking about it ever since we got into the event. The Railforge Hammer doesn't really provide that much to us, because if we're going, like, for a extra unit on the same floor, like duping the Animus of Will, as we might plan to do with the Resin Block, then the Lady, 2 Animuses of Will, and a Little Fade is 7 pips, not 6. We don't have the ability to do that. We could
so is it manual?
History of the World and hope for a possibility.
Yeah. I honestly, that's where I landed too, because where does 6 pips get us? We can't dupe Lilicarus. 6 pips would let us play 2 Animus and Lady, you know? Or I guess, you know, no, 6 pips does one thing. It would let us put a large stone on the Lady and still fit all 3. So it's not a total whiff, but I like the manual here. I'm into it.
Well, let's think about what we're duping here, right? Because if we are duping here, maybe we don't even have to go to the Merchant of Magic in the next area for another dupe. So we have the Merchant of Steel opened up. So that gives us the ability to possibly get the large stone. But if we're not going here, then obviously we don't care about the large stone ability. Because I think we could easily just go to the next one and dupe the Awoken Rail Spike, dupe the Animus of Will here, and then make a bunch of real weird decisions over the course of the fight to get Animus of Will dead enough for the Lady of the Reformed.
Yeah, like Mortal Entrap our own Animus over and over again, which is such a hilarious play.
They'll also just die to the enemies. Like, on that Seraph fight, at least.
I'm leaning manual. I think manual's good here.
Let's do it. I very, very seldom get to take the manual for the reason of the inconsistency it provides, but... Oh. So we only have, what, one more fight turns worth of scaling? But that is...
It's true.
Hard for us to cast a lot of the time.
Also true.
And the plus 25 and the plus 5 HP... Like, the plus 5 HP matters actually significantly more than the plus 25 to us.
Much more. Yeah. I think we should go Little Icarus 3 and just get biggest number. We also have a Bramble Lash, and it's doing a hilarious amount of damage right now.
Bramble Lash wouldn't even be a bad dupe. It's
very likely that if we dupe this, it's fairly likely that we can kill the Seraph with it. And that is awesome.
That is true. If we don't have to get to the Relentless phase, we actually have a really easy Seraph.
Yeah.
Wow. Actually, does that mean we dupe Bramble Lash 2 times?
I'm kind of into it. I'm not gonna lie. That is a fantastic. It's kind of circumvents. Well, no, it's a perfect expression of how strong our Icarus has become.
Yeah, it just
her rage embodied in plant.
Her spikes are so powerful that they kill without her even being involved in the slay.
She looks the other way.
Yeah.
And walks away.
Exactly, while putting on sunglasses, of course.
Yeah.
Not what's enemy units die as soon as they hit Little Fade. Okay.
Do it again.
Let's click the button.
And actually, Little Fade's great for dealing with these Ember Wings because she dies here. You play her out, she dies, no Ember loss, comes back. Bada bing, bada boom, no problem.
No problem.
Do we put Animus mid to deal with Collector that spawns there and to give us more chances to kill it, or do we just go ahead and set up?
I do really want it to die. It's just, does it ever end up dying here? Because a lot of the enemies that come in actually have really low damage values. They just have a lot of HP. So they die to Little Fade's reform on the bottom line almost all the time. Yeah.
But we've got ways to kill the Animus ourselves. I kind of like this mid lane play. It covers Collector so that we can easily reform bot row next turn, assuming we're even able to get to that. Are you going to leave Awoken Rail Spike this time?
I don't want to leave it this time, actually.
Oh, you don't?
Like, it's 4, and I really want the cost reductions on a bunch of stuff, and there's nothing we're desperately fishing for right now. So,
okay,
cost reducing seems nice.
Yeah, and it gives us a chance to cost reduce, like, even a Bramble Lamb. Wait. Do we drip fall the Emberwing because then we don't have to reform her? Since we've drawn through a couple reform cards, or do we want her to die?
Drawn through a lot of our reform cards. So the reason I want her to die is because then she gets closer to being able to live to a 6 damage attack and then another attack afterwards.
Yeah, so we do kind of want the reforms.
Yeah, I really don't want to slow her down on the reforms.
I'm with you. Okay. Call that a turn.
Channel Song is trying to draw... Wait, we still have... Wait, wow. We still have shiny stewards in the deck. I forgot about those.
They're shiny and they are chrome. Unfortunately, they're pretty dead draws for this particular run.
If we could actually, like, Channel Song and draw them without a buff, it would be better this turn, because then we get both slays.
Can I get rid of this buff? That's funny.
Please allow me to purge the buff of my own unit. 160 spikes exactly at this point as well, by the way.
Amazing. The math, it just adds up. So then maybe we don't Pyre Grow because we didn't play any Root Seeds. Like, we'd like to reform next turn.
We would like to reform next turn. 2 draws are just rerolls for another draw. 15 cards in the deck and 3 of them are reform. We're going to be drawing 5 next turn if we did Pyre Grow. Yeah, we can skip the Pyre Grow because it doesn't provide us anything useful here.
Okay. I'm feeling good, by the way, about the choice to take Combustible Wax. The world exists where we took Thorn Fruit and it was lovely, but it's definitely been some peace of mind for the things that we can accomplish.
Definitely. This seems like one of the best universes in which we get to live. I'm a little worried about that Pyre Wings. We are going to be taking the Ember Burn, but it's not going to be that bad.
Yeah, just one. It's all right.
Let me Vine
You could. Oh, crap. No, you can't. I was like, you could put the shiny stewards in the bottom row to get them out of the way. But then that's real Ember Drain problems. So you gonna kill it off this turn, the Animus?
I'm thinking so. Yeah, I'm thinking I'm back.
What we really want here is a way to get more kills with our bottom row. It's too bad if we had drawn into a resto debt, like
would have been really good.
We get there.
I'm also thinking of any other like formation of the play, like the entrapment, but that still only gets us 1 kill.
No, I think we totally entrap our own Animus and then play them up top so we have a chance to kill off those backliners next turn with Smallest Fade.
Love it.
Ye Smallest Fade.
Ye of small fades.
Honestly, I know I said that Melting Remnant is my favorite, and they are, and that I love Little Fade, and I do, but it is at least in part because I just like to say her name. That's really good enough for me.
I had that with Wildenton until I got like hard corrected, like as in this is just definitely not said that way, because I used to call them Vildenton. Because I thought it was that kind of like WV kind of merger.
Yeah.
Right? Like it seems like it would be with a Y afterwards as well.
You could say that and it would not, you know, I would be like, yep, you may pass through. Your paperwork checks out.
Yeah. Unfortunately, like there was a very persuasive argument made as to why it was pronounced the other way, to the point that I was like, okay, yep, I can give up the little bit of fun I'm having on that one.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, all the reform in the world.
Do we have a Razor Sharp in this hand? We don't, do we?
No. We can Bramble Ash one of these.
Yeah, that's not bad. That seems good. Or we can just Drip Fall one, and then we get double slay.
Yeah, I like that.
Even better. I was looking for Razor Sharp because I was just going to give one of them 10 damage as a way to get the kill.
Lady the Reformed is about to die.
Uh-oh. Well, she'll get reformed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Just like she wanted.
And then the Animus of Will shortly thereafter as well. Good lord. I mean, I'm glad it's working out.
We'll reform her, and then we'll Vine Grasp, and everything will be all right. It's not like we're going to have any trouble doing 1100 damage. That's way below our pay grade.
Like, literally, if we just wait and then just double Bramble Ash, we've actually got... Yeah, I'm gonna click Enter, and then click that.
But how do we kill it? Oh, well, we can do it. We can do it. We can totally kill it. We have Mortal Entrapment, and we have a Trap Shoot.
That's how we do it.
There's nothing in our top row. It's just Little Fade now. Little Fade stands alone. It's Armageddon out there. There's a giant battlefield covered in winged, and it's just one very small Fade.
Little Fade don't need no one.
Undeterred.
Hey, that sure says just another reform. We don't really care about energy costs of many things at the moment, and it's an ideal reform for the Animus of Will.
I love this card, if for no other reason that every time I read it, it forces me to sing a rendition of Chris Isaak's Wicked Game.
Well, and unfortunately, I'm going to have to ask you to do that.
No, I can't because it's too late. Once you say that you sing a song.
Yeah.
But you can find me at twitch.tv/sneakyteak singing Chris Isaak.
Getting that early plug in there. I've been in that
It's early.
same
Now we don't
position.
have to do it at the end.
Anytime you say you can sing a thing and then people immediately demand it, it's like, well, actually, I'm not ready to do it right now. I don't
do it. Yeah. No, it has to be spontaneous.
Another Bramble Ash just to go for it?
Yes. Can we have 4 Bramble Ash in this deck?
I mean, we can go
how early? We actually might be able to kill Seraph on like turn 1 as long as we also find something to kill the frontliner. And we like find first Hell Pact. Maybe we dupe the Rail Spike.
Maybe we do.
The Surge Stone there is at least decent.
Surge Stone's not bad. I want to take the Hell Pact and re-roll so we have more information.
Yeah, there's the Channel Heart, by the way. The other world is still live. Ooh.
I'm just going to destroy my mouse a little bit here.
Look at our trinket bar. Man. Nice.
What does this even do?
Nothing. We're going to win before we get hit. But we wanted it because it said spikes.
Send it.
Send it. Absolutely ship it.
Maybe lower the cost of the Bramble Ash, reroll, look for possibly holdover.
Yeah. Yeah. Love that. And
Does this
and
go
like
on
make
anything?
make the resto debts consume.
Sure. Get out of this deck.
Yeah, and reroll. We don't need any of this tomfoolery. Consuming Pyrogrow is a non-consuming Pyrogrow is kind of a hilarious way to scale energy.
We did end up
wonder if you can
actually
build a deck that does that.
straight up duping the Bramble Ash because we gave it the same upgrades in the same
Wow,
order.
nice, nice. Triple Bramble. It's happening.
So that is actually going to be ridiculous because, like,
200 spikes. We got there.
you said exactly that as well, by the way.
Yep.
Well done.
And we have more scaling that we can do still, but we won't. We'll just win.
I think at this point we just want cards that don't say
Shiny Steward, yes.
Yeah, exactly. That don't say Shiny Steward getting removed from the deck, so I'm gonna remove. Oh no, I clicked the wrong one.
What did you click?
Shiny Steward.
Oh. Do you want -1 on one of our mortal entrapments? Does it matter? Is it literally just remove?
I mean, like it can be that as well because we can't afford to remove after this. Like Root Seeds no longer really matters in this deck. It is a nice draw though.
At least it replaces itself.
It's just hard to find anything else to cut. Pyrogrow? Because it's slower and we don't need it?
Honestly, we don't need that energy.
Yeah.
We're so far beyond that. Oh, wait. We need +10 on the other resto debt. That's important.
Oh,
or even on that. Oh, it's attuned Mortal Entrapment. It does 75. That's kind of big. It doesn't say 2,000 damage like our Bramble Lash says.
It's really unfortunate. It's no value without 2,000 damage. That's what I felt about a lot of the cards that we drafted in this deck is they don't deal enough thousands of... Okay.
Play the Excavated Ember in the mid lane.
Oh, and then just see if we draw another Bramble?
And then maybe we win this turn. Wait, but we win with Little Fade this turn. We actually... Oh, it's so close! It's so close! Can Lady of the Reformed get us there? No, she needs to do 100 damage.
I still think we just do this, because then Mortal Entrapments kill if we want them.
Yes, and maybe we can, like... bring her back down, bring the Seraph back down, or bring him, I guess? Bring him back down to this floor next turn. Oh my gosh, we did 2,000 damage.
We got pretty close.
Incredible. We really did. That was close at C25. Like, this is not a meme. It is a meme, but it's a good meme. GG. GG. What a run. It's like almost anticlimactic to win that fast, you know? Like, we had all this kit. We've got a Hell Pact and 2 Rail Spikes. We didn't play either of them.
Yep. I love how much...
But it's the thought that we could have, and they would be so good.
I love how much time we spent trying to figure out what our scaling defense was going to be for the final fight before we finally realized our defense was killing the Seraph.
Okay, but you know, there's a world where we didn't find these Bramble Lashes.
It's true.
And then we just have a unit that says Spikes 200. Realistically, you don't have to live very long. Every time the Seraph hits us, it's taking 600 damage, right? So the pure aggro might have been an overreaction. It matters more at C25 when also the other enemies are a little beefier. And so you kind of have to live through those waves and stuff too. I don't think we made any unreasonable decision, but you're right that it was over optimized to all heck, considering we could just do that. That was awesome.
I mean, it got to do that on turn 1 though, which speaks to the value of the optimization for it.
Yeah. Look at our little Icarus. Did you enjoy that? That's maybe my favorite unit in the game.
Yes, that was a really, really good time. I will say, I was a little saddened not to get the adaptive mutation because it's one of my favorite things to do with the Lil Fade.
Well, in Lil Fade with adaptive mutation there, like you put it on a lane and then you just wait.
Yeah.
And it wins. It's got spikes 200.
It's doing 400 damage with it as well with the Petrified Crucible.
Yep.
Maybe we could have gotten that Shard Collector in a different world.
Oh, that's crazy because you know what that means? We win on turn 1 if that were Seraph the Patient.
Oh, yeah.
They attack.
Yeah, if only we had them attacking though.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Wild.
We'll have to have that same run next time we get Little Fade in the old ladder streak here. Let's get that run summary up though.
That one was a little longer than usual, but you know what? I think it was, we made it a point to do a little bit more discussion. I mean, we could have done that run in an hour, hour and a half and cut more corners. But I think the whole goal was to talk about Little Fade and talk about, you know, melting remnant, regardless of what covenant we were on, just to think about it and like really kind of overthink and over explain the decisions. So it was super fun.
Definitely agreed. That was a really good run there. I'm currently doing the old Rolodex in the head. I'm thinking of a situation where you're obviously being judged maybe by a trial of your peers. You've been considered to have been faulty of some crime, right?
Perhaps.
Now are you familiar with the concept of jury nullification?
No, what does that mean?
Oh,
wait, maybe is this where the jury is like not good for some reason?
So jury nullification, and if I explain this to you, it may make you ineligible for serving on juries. I'm pretty sure there are questions in the United States that lawyers ask you effectively as to whether or not you know if this is a thing, and if you do, they deselect you.
Interesting.
So if you're fine, I will proceed.
I'm fine with that. That's okay.
So jury nullification is the process by which think of like a Punnett square, like a 4 square, right? You've got whether the jury thinks the person is guilty, and then whether or not they say they are guilty as the different options. So if they think they're guilty and they say they're guilty, that is, you sent them to prison. Well done, you did it. If you think that they're innocent, but you say they're guilty, oops. How'd you do that?
Yeah.
If you think they're guilty, but you say that they're innocent, because you are effectively making a citizen's judgment on whether or not that person should be held to account for that crime. And instead of answering directly, yeah, they're guilty, send them to jail, you're effectively answering that what they did isn't, in your mind or in your jury's mind, a crime jailable, or shouldn't be.
Right.
So effectively, when the foreman is giving the results, in a case of using jury nullification, you may be able to say something along the lines of, we don't find them innocent or guilty, we chose courtesy.
Wow.
That was effectively going to be my setup for it, right? There's also like a fun little fact worked into that setup right there too.
I learned, and you perfectly matched. Bravo. Incredible. You stuck the landing.
Thank you very much. It is like most of the landing is kind of in the same way that a lot of pilots say that landing can kind of handle itself, or rather that flying can handle itself, but landing is what the pilots are really needed for. In the inverse, setting up that thing is the hard part, and then the easy part is just finding my way to the 3 words.
So I can just say, nah, I don't feel like judging this person guilty today. That's kind of dope.
Yeah. Now, I am not a lawyer. There may be lawyers that watch me, and there may be some nuance here that I've missed. But effectively,
somehow I have never actually served in a jury in the U.S. And it's because I've moved enough times that every time I get summoned for jury duty, it's in the place that I don't live anymore. And so each time I have to call someone and say like, hey, I live in a different state.
Yeah.
Can't come. I'm sorry. I'd like to, but I
don't know. Pay for my trip. I'll come see what this justice system's all about. I got called for jury duty exactly once. And I went down there. I spent my whole day in the courtroom. And at the end of the day, they came out and said, oh, yeah, they took a plea deal. So
they waited all day? Oh, man.
So I got my $20 travel allowance to get there and back. And
we got a cheeseburger.
Exactly. Spent the entire day in the lobby just being really nervous of what it was going to be like.
Right.
So it was a huge relief at the very end. But this has been a long episode, so I'm gonna make it really quick on the outro. We did get that little bit of a twitch.tv/sneakyteak plug in the middle there. Hey, you can find that.
I know that was so cheeky.
Sorry. Oh no, it's good. Like it's very, very well couched, as well as I imagine. I can see actually from the statistics. After the run ends, a lot of people just make it to the next video immediately to start watching the game being played again. So it even puts it in a slightly more valuable position. But I will at the very end here also add that, as we were talking about Sao at the very start of the episode, you can find their links in the description down below as well. At the moment, though, hopefully you've been enjoying yourselves, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.